street.
Now, shall we begin?
You are now listening to an altogether less fashionable variety of soccer podcast. Broadcasting live from the capital city of Columbus, Ohio. Welcome to
ACES Radio.
They're in your face, they're a little different. I think it's super cool. I love them. Jamie, ignorant slut.
Hold on to your butts.
Now, here are your hosts, Morgan Hughes, John Zadar, and Greg Benson.
Oh, yeah, baby. Ignorant sluts, shitlords, and celebrity fans alike. If you're hearing the sound of my voice, it's already too late. You're tuned in to the latest, the lamest, and possibly last episode of ACES Radio. It's a Buffalo Bills podcast only. Coming up tonight on the program, a double post-game edition as Crewzers FC take 3 points against New England and 0 against Toronto. The panel will discuss. Cracking the Code makes its triumphant return as we try to decipher what Andy Lockname means when he uses words. Man balls are thrown about, fake John Zadar, so do us all a favor. Keep those perfectly formed genitals safely tucked away inside your pantalones. I'm talking to you, Darby.
Yeah, I have fake genitals.
Then on segment 2, it's the rarest of rare treats as a celebrity guest unlike any other stops by the show. And we don't mean that as a compliment. Brian Allan 87 is here, bitches. He's from Twitter. His last name is Harris. Until last week, I thought it was Allan 87. That's not a real thing. On segment 3, we head live on Periscope for your hot takes, aka the battle for the grand prize. Sweet mother of God, Greg, got ourselves a battle here as Higher Ballerina jumps from place 3 to place 2. That's how they say in the industry. He will battle Lord of the Shits for hot take supremacy. Prediction scores, prediction updates, Crewzers at Montreal Impact, HangOnTour, the AGS Attack War, and so much fucking more. Brought to you as always by benevolent corporate overlord sponsors Blood and Urine, and broadcasting live from the beautiful back room here at Sauber Brewing Company. My name is the continuing champion Morgan Hughes, aka number 1 Hansy Boy, and I'm joined as always by the fake absentee amateur artist himself, Captain Jean-Luc the Wet Boy Zadard, aka Darby Schnarfus, the 40-year-old man-child, and Greg Letter 614 himself, Greg Wesley Crusher Benson. Fellas, mapaches, lads from different dads, brothers from different mothers, and amigos de Guillermo, I demand to know, how the hell have you been?
And if it seems like the intro's been getting longer and longer every week, you're not alone. I feel like you should just condense it down by this point to ACES Radio. Just don't.
I feel like you should delete your account.
I already have.
Schnarfus, thanks for filling in for the Wet Boy. He's on assignment, and I have no idea where. Probably Cleveland?
Yeah. From what we understand, he's going up and doing the hard work of electronics because apparently he is involved with an 80-year-old woman.
Boom roasted. I have no idea how that son of a bitch comes back from that. Darby, what if I told you that I was just going to go ahead and unmute Channel 2 for the rest of our lives?
I would say there's something Channel 2.
Yeah, you might want to check and see if there's anything plugged into it.
That's exactly the reference I was looking for. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the program, if you would. Oliver, with an Italian last name too hard to pronounce. Oliver, Italian last name. Welcome
Good
to the
evening,
show.
fellow immigrants.
Thank you for joining us. You are the main overlord here at Sauber Brewing Company, located in the heart of Franklinton. And we welcome you here to give us your hot takes about Crewzers FC. We have no pieces of housekeeping, unless you want me to mention the fact that you're building houses for kids.
No. Other than that, all this week, if you're coming down, we have a drive going. It's called Give Us Your Balls, appropriately. We're taking all used soccer balls, used jerseys, and donating them to a organization aid program that we have down in Guatemala. So if you guys come in, give us a ball, give us one of your balls, and we'll give you a beer.
And they don't even need to be perfectly formed.
No,
we prefer deflated balls.
What date does that go to? The 14th?
18th.
18th?
Yep.
What's today?
So it's the
12th?
11th.
Yeah.
It's the 11th.
I was close. I can't count either. Hey, guess what, Greg?
What, Morgan?
Moving the fuck on to Crewzers FC against the New England Revolution. That was on Saturday. For all of you who are depressed about the game on Wednesday, don't worry, we'll get to that in a hot second. So, Crew take on New England on Saturday, Darby. possibly the best performance in franchise history, a 2-0 victory over the Kai Kamara-less Revs of the greater Boston area. You were at the game. You were sitting very far up in the stands. You're a fuckboy. You're a casual. Give us your thoughts, my friend.
From the very distant, very top of the west side of the stadium, I was barely able to see the game.
Darby, before you go on, I do believe it's pronounced West Side. West Side. Much better.
It was 2 teams ago, unfortunately. He's moved on and moved
He
on
has
again,
hasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. Still applies. Move on.
I mean, he did go out west, so
Where's he?
that's-
Where's he now?
Colorado, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Who are we talking about? Crew Cat?
Yes.
Yes.
Also, Mo Saeed.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mo Saeed in the Crew Cat costume.
It was a good game. Maybe the best of the season. It was disappointing that nobody got to dunk on Kai, but he was, from what I understand, at home waiting for a baby to be birthed that's due in 6 months or something.
Yeah.
So
I was really confused about that because, when you... And I was saying this to Greg before the show, because of Harrison Awful missing some time now because his wife gave birth, you never want to be that guy that goes oh, you can't miss games because your wife gave birth. Of course you can. Life happens outside of sports and you should experience it. Mm-hmm. But to miss multiple games because your wife is just, kind of really pregnant.
Right. With your second child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've already seen one birth. You've made the giant mistake of having a second child. Mm-hmm. Why the hell would you want to be around for it? Darby Snarfus, your thoughts?
Well, because he does have to be ready to Snapchat the whole thing.
Yeah.
He's got to be able to put that camera right up in there and show everybody the second it happens.
I don't know if you noticed that my son is coming out of my wife's womb. Is that what they call it? The middle? Yeah, the middle part. The womb. Yeah. And my Humanitarian of the Year award is sitting right here. It's so weird. Oliver with an Italian last name too hard to pronounce. You were there at the game on Saturday, is that right?
That is correct.
Jesus, we're 3 for 3 here on ACES Radio. This is embarrassing for us as a program. Your thoughts on the game, my friend?
So, on the Revolution game, we're talking about Kai. He's left with us a little over $1.1 million. We paid for him. And the difference of goals we got that previous year, we paid that much money for... 1 or 2 more extra goals, 19 to 21 in that season. He goes from a lineup where the whole organization is about feeding him the ball. He's in the Revs now, and his interview said, "I'm still trying to develop a role here in this team."
Yeah.
I mean,
do you think he meant with the Revolution or just in life?
In life, because look, he's developing a role now as a father to a second child. And the third child being the Revolution. I mean, what is he doing? What is he doing?
He gave birth to a franchise?
He did.
Jesus, God.
It's crazy.
Same way you did to Bailey.
Well, I gave birth to a 9-pound Yorkie out of my own butthole, so I can relate. Greg Benson, Hollywood racist.
Yes.
You were there. You were at the
I
game
was
on
at
Saturday.
I was there. We are 3 for 3 now. I know.
I'll do it. There it is. Yeah, there you go. With none other than Arizona and Ice-T Benson.
Yes, and I'm glad that you brought that up
your
because
daughters.
Yes,
you named them after your favorite gas station liquors. Is that right?
Yes, that's exactly what I did. And thank you, by the way, for bringing that up because they have not been eternally traumatized by meeting you, which was a surprise.
Yeah. I kept my pants on.
Yes, thank you so much. Seriously, thank you for doing that.
There's a little-known law called Caitlin's Law that makes me do that. I have to check in with municipalities.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Because when I introduced Arizona as Arizona to you, and you responded with her real name, I was like, oh, phew.
Nice.
Thank goodness.
So you were setting me up for failure.
It suddenly makes sense why every text I get from you comes up as an Amber Alert.
Yep, they like that. I thought they were going to boo you, but it turns out they fucking hate me.
I don't know how they come back from that. Probably one weekend every month.
Yeah, so goals by Ola Kamara in the 13th and Federico Higuain in the 53rd, which was a dope-ass one-time strike there, that half volley. Mm-hmm. He's looking like he's back into designated player form.
He looked like he genuinely wanted that game, wanted that result, wanted that goal. Was absolutely everywhere, all over the field all night that he was out there. Played up to pretty much the status that we foisted on him when we first signed him. Okay, good. 3 to 4 years later, it's we're starting to see what we should be expecting every single week.
Yeah. Oh, by the way,
alert. Darby Schnarfus has entered the game.
Yeah, I forgot to play that. Darby Schnarfus, everyone.
Good job.
Well done.
Do you want to go back and re-record the start of the segment?
3, 2,
1.
Clap.
0. Clap.
Darby Schnarfus, I mean, do either of you guys have any relevant hot takes about this game? Like, New England's a trash fucking team. They're near the bottom of our conference for a reason. We beat a team that we should beat at home. Kai missing, an interesting point that I thought about last night when I was walking out of the Tiny Demon Fortress, a.k.a. the dumpster fire of embarrassment, was in this 3-game homestand where we got 3 entire fucking points and blew 2 second-half leads, again, at home. NYCFC did not play David Villa or Andrea Pirlo. The Revolution did not play Kai Kamara, and Toronto FC did not play Sebastian Giovinco. So we may be looking at an entire MLS All-Star game comprised completely of players that did not play in victories over Columbus on the fucking road. Darby Schnarfus, your thoughts?
Are
Such
you
an odd
implying
stat.
that Kai Kamara is going to make the All-Star team?
That's adorable.
Turns out everybody fucking hates that guy.
He's on pace to score -7 goals this season.
Hang on, what?
Yeah, you got it.
-7 goals.
-7.
Yeah,
What is
it's
he?
math.
Has he got an own goal or?
It's like the USL. If you play an ineligible player, you have to have -3 points, so you could be in John's.
Is there any such thing as a player that's not eligible for a USL team, though? I mean, they will take literally anyone. He said as the Cincinnati scarf hangs behind your
Yeah,
head
it's
there.
hanging over Kai Kamara. So anybody else got any kind of hot takes about the Rev game? Because I want to move on to TFC.
My only thought about this was, can you imagine if Lee Nguyen played on a good team?
No shit.
Like he was.
Or could you imagine what the Revs would be like without Lee Nguyen?
Oh yeah, no, it's comical to think about what they'd be like without him. But yeah, he created some genuine problems.
Put one off the crossbar.
Did put one off the crossbar. Did put one just wide that could have easily changed the complexion of the game. But if he had any kind of support around him, they'd be dangerous.
And Diego Fagundes has shitty looking hair.
Ain't nobody got time.
He really does. Before we move on, just very quickly,
we're back.
My youngest one described Nguyen as Popcorn Head. That's her nickname for him now.
Is dyed hair a requirement for their roster now? Is that basically what's happening?
It might be. That's the revolutionary part.
Oh yeah. It's all the Crayola. They're like, we've got all these gold and silver crayons in our box we've still got to use.
Which one of our players said that he did it so that his grandmother could find him on TV when he's playing out in the field?
Who said that?
Someone with popcorn-colored hair.
Dominic Aduro.
No, are you talking MLS or are you talking?
No, it was outside MLS.
It might be. There was a guy. I can't remember what his name is. A guy who plays for Sunderland. I think it might be him. I can't for the life of me remember off the top of my head.
That's the greatest unselfish, unnarcissistic.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Answer.
Yeah. It also implies that your grandmother's got really shitty eyesight.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody's noticed. Morgan is ready to move the fuck on.
No,
right,
I couldn't hear anything.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's true. It was just dead air for
See,
you.
I heard that.
Moving the fuck on to
All right.
Crewzers FC against Toronto FC last night. Tiny Demon Fortress. Again, that's a Latin term for a huge embarrassment failure of a stadium. Oliver with an Italian last name, too hard to pronounce. You came up to me in the bar and you said, first of all, just want to tell you how great you are with kids. You'd be a wonderful father. Any woman would be lucky to sleep with you. I mean, I don't know why people aren't jumping all over that shaft right now. And I thought that was a little aggressive, and it came out of nowhere. But you also said, I have hot takes about soccer. I want to hear them. Back to you.
I can't get beyond the first part of that.
I mean, you said it. Those are literally your words.
Most people don't.
Yeah.
I blacked out in complete awe when I saw you enter.
That's right.
Toronto
Feel the
FC.
heat coming off those genitals. I apologize.
No, you don't.
I know what's worse is that you apologize for it.
I remember when I could make genital jokes and people wouldn't stop talking on the podcast. When the fuck did that end?
Greg.
You're about as sorry for that joke as Wellington played playoff games this year.
Oh shit! That was pretty good roasting. Unfortunately, I don't have a drop for that. So,
guess we got to move on.
No, the biggest thing here is, like you stated earlier, Giovinco was not on the field. I mean, for that reason.
I'm sorry. Wait a
alone-
minute. What did you call him?
Oh.
Giovinco?
Oh, you're kind of not pronouncing
that was really Italian.
It was
the way
very
you
Italian.
said it. It
Yeah.
was super Italian.
I think
Say-
the only
say it
thing
again.
the only thing that could have made it more Italian is if he did this hand gesture with that nobody can see
Yeah.
because we're not on
This-
Periscope.
this is
Just saying.
When I was
I just
young-
realized that. It's
Right.
great fucking radio.
Oh, no. When I was young, rather than telling me to be quiet in public, the way to get me to stop talking was my mom telling me to put my hands in my pockets. So that was code for, that's how you got me to stop talking, is if my hands were in my pockets. That's it.
Fair enough.
Say it again. Say it again.
Giovinco.
Yeah.
Hey.
I'm Giovinco. I'm Italian. I'm Peruvian. This is what Peruvians sound like. Nope, that's not the button I wanted. Back to you, Oliver. Thoughts on TFC Crewzers FC?
I mean, they're not playing what could be arguably the best MLS player we have in the league.
Yep.
And away game, even the betting odds had him at like a plus 225.
What does that mean?
$50 in, get you 112 out. What? Over the team that was ranked number 1. And we played a great game all the way through. I mean, Justin Miram was hustling all over the field, back and forth. And to lose that goal in the 90th minute, literally, I mean, it's not as bad. I didn't flash back and black out to 2016 season.
Yeah.
But I was more angry at this loss than any other one where we let them go in the back because they were on it the entire time. The entire time.
Yeah, it was kind of one of those games where you're like, what fucking year is it? Is it still last year? Because this is, I don't know, you could argue, Darby, that maybe we're not a team that is currently or ever have been built in the Berhalter era to win a game 1-0. It just doesn't seem to be a thing that we're interested in. But to be up until what, the
80th. I think.
Literally the 80th minute.
the 81st minute is when Ricketts. So another interesting thing is whatever the fuck his name is, the Ben Olsen of Toronto started making substitutions in the 40th minute.
Right.
What a goddamn antithesis of our coaching staff. They identified that their schema wasn't working in the 40th minute. They're like, hey, aren't there substitutions in soccer? Let's bring on a fucking guy that's going to score 2 goals. Back to you, Darby.
Sure. And they also played 3 games in 8 days. And what do you do when you play 3 games in 8 days? You make your subs a little earlier so you keep those legs fresh. So you get on the guys who need some playing time.
Is that right?
There was another team in that game, I think, that was in the same situation. 3 games in like a week. And they kept those damn subs in the pocket,
Yeah.
Like we've got some guy we paid a lot of money for on the bench. Hey, Scott Sedley. Who's that guy?
Yeah, no
Who's
shit.
that guy? I'm not going to say
Kakutamane.
I'm not going to say his name because nobody knows it.
I wonder sometimes if Berhalter, and obviously this doesn't apply to last night because he wasn't on the sideline, but I wonder if sometimes he thinks that like substitutions are like rollover minutes on your cell phone plan, that like he can take them into the next game if he doesn't use them in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this was just
That's very funny. You guys like that joke? Yeah.
Yeah, they were paying attention.
That was pretty good, actually.
We have a studio audience tonight, Greg. Not just Brian Allan 87, who I think lives in the back room that's been abandoned. Used to be a toilet.
I mean, when we got here, he was already here.
Right. That's right. And he's like, "Hey guys," that's what you sound like in real life. What are your guys' names? Diane. Caitlin. Oh, hey, I made a Caitlin joke earlier, didn't I? Caitlin's Law.
Is she Mrs. Paulson?
I apologize. I'm sorry that I did that to you, and I will check in with the Upper Arlington Police as soon as possible. So we're leading for this entire game. Freddie Ball Kicker has a penalty kick in the 28th. Good on Ola Kamara for drawing that. But you kind of lose your shit, Oliver, when Josh Wolf makes a substitution for Josh Williams in the 66th. Right, and he brings on Hector Jimenez. Okay, you can, I guess, if you're trying to be very technical, you could call that a defensive substitution. The one that really stuck out to me was bringing on Adam John for Ola Kamara in the 74th. This is the kind of substitution you're used to seeing in the 88th minute, where you go, okay, let's bring on like a hold-up forward that maybe we can get him the ball in the corner next to the flag, and we can just kind of piss away the game.
Because he's not gassed out.
Yeah, but to do it in the 74th, it just like you find yourself punching yourself in the face and going, how did it get to here? And you said this to me earlier. You said, how did it get to here? And you're probably, people probably love you. You smell very nice. Like you took a shower today. I can tell. That coat that you wear every day, you wash it once a week. Back to you.
except for the jeans. Everything else was correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and that's the thing, though, too. It's about freezing your denim until it takes away the
is that right?
smell doesn't
Yeah.
materialize over a round of time.
You're saying-
Soccer. Yeah.
No, I was talking about putting your clothes
Ain't
in the
nobody
freezer.
got
Oh, yeah.
time for
Oh, yeah.
that.
The great thing about subbing in someone like that at the end, like for those of you who watched the match today for the Europa Cup with Manchester United against Celta Vigo, I mean, they took out Rashford, put in not to pay. Who'd they put in? I know. Really? All right, let's just skip forward. The great thing about subbing someone in towards the end of the game is that they're in just long enough to use their gas to maybe make some magic happen, but not too long so that you see that they've not been consistently playing for the entire match, so that they're not in their groove. And that's what we did. You put someone in with just a long enough time to show that they've not been playing this entire time.
And it's a weird part of the game to go like, okay, so you're bringing on, like I said, a guy to maybe dribble to the corner flag, but if you did a little bit earlier, you think, hey, maybe we're trying to get that second goal. But in the 74th just doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Darby, I want to hear from you because you're an Outrage Brigade member.
Especially when he wasn't showing any signs that he needed to be taken out.
Right. Yeah. And he's a defender, man, and he can play any position in the back. So maybe you bring on a Nicky ACES who's sitting on the bench, who's a normal starter, and you can push Josh to the middle again, and have your 4 defender back line. But the thing that really fucking grinded my gears yesterday was I was standing there thinking, hey, Mohamed Abu looks like he's actually trying this game, and good for him. Like the lazy son of a bitch that he is in the last few games that we've seen him. It seemed to me like he was being he had a little more oomph behind him. And then that goddamn goal that they just went up Interstate 1, man, and Trapp fucked up, and Abu made this kind of defensive lunge at a guy like I do in basketball, where it's like, I want people to think that I'm trying to play defense, but I'm not really fucking trying to play defense, which led to Mensa trying to step up. He lost his dude on the back post. You got a cross coming in, and it's A plus B equals C, and Bob's your uncle. Darby Schnarvis, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, the subs really didn't make sense. And I guess, we are talking about not our normal head coach, so maybe Josh Wolf just doesn't have the right philosophy. But yeah,
clipboard. He didn't have the right clipboard.
He didn't yeah, exactly. Maybe he was told, maybe Berhalter said, here are the 3 subs you're going to make, and here's when you're going to make them. I mean, maybe that's a thing. But yeah, Josh Williams, go 5 in the back towards the end of the game. Why not? That's why freaking Toronto plays all game, right? When we do our slow build-up, they're just like, fine, everybody's behind the ball now.
And it was exactly what they switched to the moment they got the equalizing goal. This is what we talked about off the air, Morgan, is that as soon as they tied the game, I mean, road points in MLS are a big deal. So if you can get one, you'll take one.
Yeah.
Not to mention, Toronto's had the penalty saved earlier in the game. So they figure they'll take what they can get. So they sit back, and Columbus did their absolute utmost to give them the ball at every opportunity for the last 10 minutes of the game, and you see how it turned out.
Oliver, how outraged are you?
So outraged. I mean, again, their main goal scorer is out. They went from a fully loaded gun to maybe a Russian roulette pistol between 2 Russians. Our D, even our midsection, is completely enthused.
Yeah.
With the fact that we've got a great chance that the leading goal scorer in MLS is we're not going to be facing him tonight. I mean, and you could see in the motivation that they had. I mean, it just
missing a guy like that
at what point
makes 3 points completely fucking necessary.
Yeah,
completely necessary. And this is I'll say this is the second time in as many matchups at home against Toronto this year where the best team lost.
You know what?
It does feel like a reverse of the first time, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because
feels like
Toronto completely outplayed Columbus in the first meeting, and walked away on the wrong end of 2-1. Flipped the script a month later, and here's where we are.
Well, it also sends kind of a different message too. I mean, I get the logic, about taking Jovinko, setting him aside, resting his legs, but at the same time, what kind of message are you sending to us? It's like, we kind of don't give a shit.
The same fucking message that NYCFC
they didn't have to.
Yeah.
And New England sent.
Yeah.
We don't respect you, and we were right to not respect you. Like,
Caitlin, how's that Vertigo tasting? Is that good stuff? Zauber Brewing Company.
Can we make mention that there was a spill that went on, so there are officially two of us now. Beer culture has been distributed evenly amongst the studio audience.
That plays automatically when you fuck up. I'm telling you, I had nothing to do with that. I want to talk about this. This is something I saw on BigSoccer.com/hot deals today, Darby.
Why would you do that to yourself?
It's the International Consortium of Soccer Experts. Isn't that what Steve Abreu says?
Yeah, that's what he says.
Fantastic. From user Kyle Crew, who is like the person that likes me the least in the entire fucking Crewniverse.
That's not true because I'm sitting right here.
Wow, that's very funny. Everybody will laugh about that in a second. In 3, 2, 1. Nope, there's no drop playing.
Clap.
11 games played overall this year for Columbus Crewzers FC. 5 wins, 5 losses, 1 draw. With Mohamed Abou starting, and that counts the New York, the Red Bull game because Artur was injured in the 30th second. We are 0 wins, 4 losses, and 1 draw. 3 goals for, 7 goals allowed. With Mensa in the starting lineup, 6 games. 2 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw. Goals for, 8. Goals against, 8. With neither one of them in the starting lineup, 3 games. We are 3-0-0. Goals for, 6. Goals against, 1. You're talking about your designated player who's making, what, $850,000 this year?
Yep. The guy who also stepped up on the first goal or second goal. Did he put himself out of position?
Second goal.
Yeah, second goal.
And he kind of had to do that because, what's his nuts? Mohamed Abou and Trapp played a great game, but he also put him in a position where he had to step up and lose his fucking guy. And Krognale is a goddamn rookie, and there's not much he can do. He should attract that runner, whatever.
But see, the thing, I don't even know that he had to because our defense does not step up aggressively to attackers. I mean, for better or for worse, the way our defense plays is you keep yourself between the player and the goal, but you don't aggressively attack him.
Yeah.
So I think he probably stepped up, and everybody else said, "Wait, what the hell's happening here?"
Yeah.
Well, even on a physical realm, I mean, we're talking about a D-line that actually goes above 5'10" now.
Yeah.
We haven't had that in how long?
5 minutes? 5 years?
5 minutes?
5
years?
weeks.
5 weeks?
I have no idea. I just became a fan last week. But you're right. It's nice having not just Mensa not just Mensa, but Krognale as well in the middle for size. And Krognale got on the end of a couple, at least one corner kick in the south end that probably would have been a goal 9 times out of 10. Bono, the lead singer of that Irish band, whatever it's called, he made a great save. And him and Josh Williams got confused on a corner on the north end in the first half, but. It just, that's kind of how soccer goes, man. Like, you kind of miss your chances, and you can't shit the fucking bed. You can't shit the fucking bed. In a 3-game homestand, you walk away with 3 points. And we're trying to make the playoffs this year.
Yeah,
Give me a fucking break.
And to reiterate, as you said, those 2 losses came against teams that were either resting or otherwise without their best players.
Yeah. Now, I mean, if you're Sunshine Brigade, you can say, okay, TFC was in the Cup Finals and they hosted it last year, right? They're a good team. They've won 5 games in a row now, right? Sometimes you lose to good teams. And NYCFC, they've turned shit around. They're not playing the corpse of Andrea Pirlo anymore. They've figured it out. I'm sure Oliver has a way in Italian to say that I couldn't understand. But you're at home, you have 2 second-half leads that you shit away. To me, that reeks of 2016, and I thought we were fucking done with that.
Okay, is it time to start saying that we're mid-table right now? I mean,
mid to low table talent, I think is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, we're not beating the teams who are the top teams. I mean, whether they're playing their best players or not, we're still not beating them. So,
after having beaten them for 90 minutes.
Right. I mean, winners win. Yeah. Winners get sprinkles.
Now, I'm sure we can... Honestly, I could bitch and moan about last night's game till the end of time. But there was a looming subject on the internet today, Greg.
What is that?
Well,
looming internet subject.
What if I told you
porn?
That there was a cure for me starting a segment without playing the intro.
Is it porn?
It's knowledge.
Okay.
And now,
whoop-de-doo,
an ACES radio exclusive.
What does it all mean, Grandpa?
Cracking the code. They say it.
Everything we do is for the city.
What? We explain it.
Who we are is for the city.
I understand you.
You reap the benefits.
What? They speak English and what? What? English, motherfucker! Do you speak it? Yeah!
And it's all for Columbus.
For Columbus, indeed, Greg. Welcome back to another edition, ladies and gentlemen.
Just lip sync the whole intro to that segment. That's how often we've heard it.
Cracking the Code, which is a Latin term for podcast host, Darby. This is, of course, the segment in the show where we take a quote from the week that was. We listen to it, we dissect it, and we tell you what that shitlord was actually trying to say. You happy about this, Darby? You good to be back?
So excited.
Yeah. Diane just spilled her beer all over her fucking self. She can't even handle this shit. Yeah. Studio audience is just sitting on the edge of their chair going, why did I walk back in this room?
Somewhere, John Zadar is rolling his eyes, waiting for the segment to be over.
And pretending to...
That's assuming that John Zadar's listening to this episode.
Oh, his eyes are rolling for no reason.
I highly doubt
he doesn't even know why.
There's no way that John Zadar is listening to this.
He's listening repeat of Massive. That's what he's doing right now.
He didn't even listen to
Massive?
his own training segment.
Are you trying to talk about the Massive Report podcast? Yeah. You don't even know what it's called. We listen.
You know, you're allowed to eject him from the building. Like that's
I
your
wouldn't do
legal
that.
right.
Not at all. With
very heavy.
With Kyle Possum between him and I don't know if I can get around that ruffian.
You're dropping all the inside jokes. Let's go ahead and play this clip. This is Andy Loughnane. Listen, last night after a poorly attended Crewzers FC home match, somebody put a microphone in front of Andy Loughnane's face, and they said, "Defend yourself, you son of a bitch." And he had the following to say in 3, 2, 1.
Overall attendance was extremely disappointing and not representative of the effort on the field and off the field. Other mid-sized markets like Portland, Salt Lake, and Kansas City have found a way to get past challenges, whether it's weather issues, early season match issues, 3-game homestand issues, or Wednesday issues. For us, that's essential as we attempt to continue to evolve. Let me smash.
As always,
Fan-fucking-tastic.
my favorite part of that quote, my favorite part of that entire clip is how you can tell it's actually Andy Loughnane.
Oh, that's him. Yeah, Greg. A lot of people are saying that that's him and not a robot.
The Andy Loughnane-ness of that clip
Yeah.
will stay with me for days.
If you've heard that, you know it's him because that's what his voice sounds like. And he's
Totally.
always saying, "Let me smash." I don't know what it means, but fucking A, that guy's got a point. So this is the
That
soup.
wasn't Charlton Heston on NRA?
No, that was
No.
Andy
Got
Loughnane.
it, got it.
He has an English name too hard to pronounce. So this was the soup du jour today on the outrage community known as Twitter in Crewzers FC talk. People, for some fucking reason, found that quote to be attacking them. And Darby, I think you're one of them. I think you're one of these unbelievable social justice warrior white guys that are 40 that no one has time for.
Yeah.
I hate them.
Fucking
They're
white
the
people.
worst.
No, but
Yeah.
but honestly, people thought that was Andy Lambo attacking fans of the Columbus Crew. Like what in that made it sound like he was saying anything other than we have a lot of work to do because nobody's coming to our games.
When really he specifically was attacking the sales team.
Yes. What part of that is attacking us?
I think what you had, people took it very personally because the people who did bother to show up, the alleged 10,000 of us who were there. I mean, I was there, you were there. Basically, we were the only people in the stadium.
Okay.
Both of you count for 5,000 each.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I counted on one side of the stadium, he was on the other.
There you go.
I think they walked out of that game feeling so fucking defeated. And then the next thing they see online is Andy Lambo saying, "Oh, the city's not supporting the team," and people are looking at that and going, "I just have my heart fucking ripped out." And
But
you're
he
gonna
didn't
bitch
say
about
the city's not supporting
attendance?
the team. He said that attendance was disappointing. Don't put words in
he's-
his mouth.
No, and he said like, "Oh, other teams are doing it better. Like they're figuring out how to deal with early season."
Yeah.
Weak games and all that
Okay,
sort of
what
stuff.
part fucking attacks Crew fans? Oliver, Italian last name, too hard to pronounce. You look like a terrorist with that beard. Back to you.
Yeah. Salam alaikum.
Yeah.
That's a word. That's a bad guy word. I've heard that. Yeah.
That's a word in bad guy.
Yeah, that's bad guy for I hate this place. I'm gonna drink all your beer and
No,
have sex with your girlfriend. Don't do that. She's disgusting. Back to you. No, so the theme of tonight is I'm gonna kick it to you, and I'm gonna give you too long of an intro, and then you won't even remember what we're talking about.
Great job. We're talking about.
What part of that of Andy Lambo's quote upset you the most?
I would say probably the biggest part is it's ambiguous to what he's actually speaking about without any support afterwards. You've got potentially negative reinforcement, marginally directed at anybody that's listening or reading, and there's no follow on to specifically what we can do to come together. Because right now, I can see how it would come off as, well, you know what? Yeah, we lost, but you guys didn't show up either, so that didn't help out. That's how people are going to take it, because people are feeling raw, like you said.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing, though, when we point those things out is, well, then what should we be doing better? If you want to get attendance up, let's upper bowl $5 a ticket. It's a Wednesday PM game.
You can't. MLS does not allow that.
What are they going to do? Put us in soccer jail? If the team
Is that a place?
sells $5 tickets tomorrow for a game, what's the league going to do? Like, in all seriousness, what would the repercussion be if they did it? I mean, other than being forced to listen to this fucking podcast, that's about the worst punishment they can offer.
Don't give them ideas. They'll have ACES radio playing on continuous loop.
Okay, yeah,
over the PA at Marfray.
I will remind everybody that talking about Crewzers FC fandom attendance rather, and comparing it to your Kansas Cities, your Portlands, your Seattles, all these MLS 4.0 shithole franchises that play in NFL stadiums
with great new stadiums.
Yeah, it's not. It's apples to oranges. The reason those teams are here is because Columbus Crew SC, the owner took out his checkbook and built a stadium when the league was going to shit, and we started this shit and we're paying for it because we're not hot and sexy, and you can't sell Columbus Crew SC to people in Columbus because they've been aware of it since 1994. The selling tactic by Major League Soccer franchises is, hey, lads, come on, this is kind of an English thing. Wouldn't it be cool to do something fucking European, and it's new and fresh, and you can't sell it to people in Columbus like that because we don't fucking buy it.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. We face a challenge that, only 9 other teams in the league, well, not even 9 anymore.
Don't count Sporting
face
in that.
anymore. We have that. We've been around for 20 years, and it's hard to seem fresh and sexy.
And we play at the fairgrounds.
Yeah.
Come on out to the fairgrounds, kids.
So, and maybe that's the other part of the outrage is we always have this damn attendance conversation. And frankly, I want to see results on the field, and everybody else wants to see results on the field. And so when you have the front office playing the attendance game, and you just saw a shit result on the field, that makes you mad because I want to see a win.
Okay,
I don't expect 20,000 people on a Wednesday. I don't.
But Greg, what part of that statement is offensive to fans?
Absolutely none, unless you're a professional victim. And Columbus sports fans in general, are very good at that. Ohioans in general. Where the fuck do you think the Ohio versus the world thing comes from? It comes from a deep-seated need to be the little guy that's up against everybody else. Like, I don't know about you, Ohio versus the world seems like a losing battle to me, but that's an aside.
But the victim...
But what Andy's doing is pointing out what we've known all... What the fuck was that?
That's a very long drop.
It is a very long... Yeah. I was wondering which other one you were playing. I mean, I'm used to you pressing wrong buttons. Yeah. So
Let me smash.
Back to you, Greg.
That's not a wrong button at all. That's always the right button.
Yeah.
No, what I think he's doing is he's pointing out the elephant in the room and maybe verbalizing some of his own frustration, as you said, Oliver, with his staff, rather than saying, hey, why isn't the city supporting the team? It's more of an internal thing, saying we need to do a better job of reaching out to people. And I understand that Wednesday night at a game at the fairgrounds, when parking's $15 and tickets are $30 and all of this kind of stuff, you're not going to sell the stadium out. You're not even going to come close to half of that. But at the same time, that still presents a challenge for your marketing team to say, what can we do to try and increase those numbers? We're not going to get to where we're selling out every single game.
Build a stadium downtown. Darby's got some hot takes about this.
Yeah, that's not going to happen in the next 3 to 5 years, though. You've got to look at something that's now, and it's only in professional sports where a question from a CEO to say, why are we not selling? You never have a car dealership where they say, oh, our sales numbers are down this month, and the entire city's like, yeah, well, fuck you, because we're buying new cars, and they take that as an insult. Well, it doesn't make sense to me.
I'll remind you, as always,
it was a great accent, by the way.
That was very good. You sounded very Australian
right on point
there for a second. So I'll remind you, as always, what market that we're operating in, and that's Columbus, Ohio. And let's talk about Columbus as a sports town. We have the behemoth known as Ohio State football, and go Bucks, fuck Michigan. Everybody knows that I'm Columbus till I die, and that includes the Scarlet and Gray. We have the Columbus Blue Jackets, who are literally the worst franchise in the history of professional fucking sports, right? It's 17 years now. We just had our first regulation victory in a playoff series.
First
Several years ago,
win
they were threatened
in a playoff.
Right?
by losing local TV coverage if they didn't start winning.
Yep.
They were literally going to be taken off free cable channels if they didn't start winning.
And they also have an arena district built around them to go like, hey, even if we suck, everyone loves bars. Everyone loves fucking booze. You want to have some hooch?
Which
Maybe
is
come
one
to
of
a
the
hockey
biggest-
game?
Which is one of the biggest
it's
knocks on the
literally like-
fairgrounds because there's nothing in that immediate area. But you've got to bear in mind that not everybody is coming for the downtown experience. Some of these people are driving in from places like Dayton,
Yeah, sure. There
Cincinnati,
are 3
Cleveland.
hockey fans in the world, and I'm sure they enjoy fucking Blue Jackets games.
No, what I'm saying is you get people, going back to the Crew, you get people coming, sorry, Crew SC.
There you go.
Avoided the $16 fine. You get people coming in from out of town who just want to get into the stadium, watch the game, get out of the stadium and go home. And even that, like it's relatively convenient off the highway. It's not too far as an access point.
The
is
singular
concerned.
2-lane roads
the-
in and out are very definitely convenient.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Morgan, let me ask you a question.
Yes, Darby.
In the past 15 years for the team,
I'm
what
listening.
year had the highest attendance?
Well, I just became a fan 2 weeks ago. You know that, right?
If you had to guess, what would you say?
1991.
I said the past
Minnesota
15
Twins.
years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Highest attendance ever? Are you talking about?
Past 15 years.
1999 was not then. 2015.
I'm
In the year
you're
of our
close.
Lord.
2016.
16. All right.
Right.
Yeah.
Last year.
Yeah.
Now, why did we have the highest attendance in 15 years last year?
Beer culture.
Yes. Also
Hashtag
because
beer
we were in
culture,
the
Morgan.
fucking MLS Cup
That's
the year
very
before.
true. Yeah.
What was the biggest boost to our attendance? Putting a damn good team on the field.
We interrupt this regularly scheduled podcast for this bit of breaking news. We go now live on scene to the number one handsy boy, Morgan Hughes, who has this to say about it. Thanks, Eric. Darby, are you saying that people come to watch winning soccer teams?
That is the hottest take I have ever had. Yes. So if Andy Lambo wants to know
Holy shit.
how to put people in the stands,
We figured it out.
yep.
So if the Crew win games,
People show up. Even to Wednesday games.
Fuck me, right?
If you win them, they will come.
I just my main point
Fantastic.
was, and we can move on. I don't think that any part of Lambo's statement. And yes, I'm a front office shill. I will admit that. I'm good friends with multiple people in the front fucking office, as is everybody at this table. That guy did not say anything against us as Crew fans. He's not trying to insult your manhood or your womanhood or your whatever hood.
Boys in the hood?
Boys in the hood.
Okay.
Hoodness. What's another hood word, Greg?
Little Red Riding Hood.
Hoodosity.
There's one. Yeah, he's not trying to insult any of that. I think I took that as, he's saying we have to do a better job, and I hope that they do.
I mean, he
Moving.
could have just said that.
I think he did.
I don't think he did.
Yeah. Did you not hear this?
Moving the fuck on.
I'm sorry. In 3, 2, 1. Clap.
Darby, moving on yet?
Mr. Poopy Pants?
Moving the fuck on to Man Balls, an ACES radio tradition unlike any other. I remind you, as always, that Man Balls is a combination of Man of the Match and Game Balls, which, as a phrase, is too long, as opposed to this explanation, which is perfectly formed. Greg Benson, the Hollywood racist, Greg
Yes.
Letter 614 on Twitter. Delete your account.
I do indeed
Get to
hate white
Hendricks
people.
Pub. If you sit in your own chair, you're going to have yourself sitting on you.
Yeah.
Your Man Balls of the week, my
You're going to
friend.
have yourself sitting on you.
I don't know. I have to come up with different things to say. 45 episodes.
Try harder next week.
45 episodes in, Greg. It's not-
Yeah, first man ball is going to go to Zach Steffen, who played out of his head both games over the past week.
Zach Steffen.
Yeah, he obviously made the penalty save against Toronto, and I don't think you can fault him for either of the goals that they scored.
Real talk.
It wasn't him. Second man ball is going to the entire Sydney FC roster, who just won the A-League Grand Final.
Oh, did they?
Champions of Australia. Yeah, they were taken to penalties by Melbourne.
Really?
Yeah, which was great to wake up for at 3:30 in the morning on a Sunday, thanks to the time zones.
Did you really get up that early?
I did really
Jesus.
get up that early, and my kids were staying over for the weekend, so it's not as if I could holler and run around the house and
Yeah.
make a big do about it.
Wow.
I'm trying to hold everything
that's a big
in.
do.
That is huge.
Yeah, I'm trying to hold everything in.
How many
reserve.
championships is that for Sydney FC?
That's their third.
Oh, okay.
It's the 12th season.
Paul
of the league.
Hogan won the first one.
Yes,
that's
did
right.
not know that.
And Greg
Yes.
Norman almost won about 12 of them.
Yes. Russell Crowe's never
That's
won
a
one.
golf
though,
joke.
'cause he's
Everyone-
actually from New Zealand.
Everyone from Upper Arlington is going to laugh about that. Oliver,
okay.
with an Italian last name, too hard to pronounce. Your 2 man balls of the week, my friend.
I'm going to agree with him on our keeper. I think probably the biggest question coming into this season with Steve going away is, what are we going to put back there now? Well, how is this going to play out for us?
Yeah.
We shrouded ourselves in the belief of that chant that Steve says no, and a lot of times it was Steve says maybe.
Yeah.
And coming to this new season, we had, Steve's great guy, great keeper. Coming into this new season, we were not disappointed. What he's been doing has been simply performing.
Yep.
And there's talk on a short list for him going into the national team, right?
Is there talk
correct?
of that?
I believe there is.
Well, he's been on the U23s.
So he's going to get the first ball as well for me. Second
right.
man ball to give out. I'm going to give it to Federico Higuain. We needed to see a beautiful penalty kick at home. We needed it.
Okay.
We needed to see that.
All right.
The Pipanenka.
Yeah.
Pippa Kicks, not to be confused with Pippa Chips or Pippa Ships, which is a boat manufacturing company.
Or
in,
Pippa Nips, who may be coming up
Newburyport.
in segment 3.
That's right, Massachusetts. Darby Schnarfus, the 40-year-old man-child, fake John Zadar. Your 2 man balls of the week, my friend.
My first man ball goes to Higuain also. For all of the early season knob jobbing of Justin Merrim, Higuain now has the same number of goals and assists as Merrim. So he's picking up the slack. While
Sorry, I can't quit laughing at knob jobbing. It's just funny. Maybe it's funnier in Australia than it is in America, but yeah. Go on.
Second man ball goes to Nico Ness. So I don't know if anybody's broken down the statistics for when he plays versus not, but he sat on Wednesday and look what happened.
Yeah.
So
Maybe
man needs
if
to be in there all the time.
Maybe if the Adam John substitution was Nicky Aces instead.
We'd have won 5-6-0.
Man, I don't know why you need defenders on the field when you're trying to preserve a 1-0 victory. I'm more of a basketball guy myself. Boston Celtics, 1986 champions, best team in history.
Is there a chance that Nico Ness could play forward? Like I'm not convinced he couldn't.
Hey, you know what I just realized?
You haven't done color impressions.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I was going to bring that
Well,
up.
I'll give away my man balls real quick, then we'll do our color impressions, then we can get the fuck out to segment 2. My first man ball of the week goes to Will Trapp of Columbus Crewzers FC. He played that ball to Ola Kamara that resulted in the penalty kick. Good on him. He had a good game. He almost had a goal. The keeper was off his line there in the second half. And he almost put one in. Good for him. And I'm going to switch this up, Greg. I've been giving this a lot of thought. I've been staying up at night, and I've been saying to myself, who are you going to give your second man ball of the week to? You gave it to Ben Beachy, Cowtown Ben, last week. I mean, you got to get back on point. And that ball is going to go to none other than Andres Mendoza of Columbus Crewzers FC for being possibly the greatest player in franchise history. Now, rewinding before we take a break real quick, I want to get our color impressions of the game against Toronto FC. Gregulator 614.
Yes.
If you're at Hen Doc's Pub and you're sitting in a chair, get ready, because his naked butt is about to touch your face.
My color impression is yellow, but not the official Glidden paint shade yellow beach Columbus Crew.
Yeah.
I mean yellow like the
Yellow
pastel, yellow like the pastel gender neutral baby clothes yellow, because with Harrison Offal and Kai Kamara and seemingly everybody else in MLS having babies either now or in the near future, I don't know what genders they all are, so I'm just going to give them all.
Can't believe you've done this. Oliver with an Italian last name, too hard to say. A lot of people are saying he looks like the enemy. We're not going to let him back in our country. You got to stay in Canada for at least a week. Your your color impression of Crewzers FC, Toronto FC.
Because that actually did happen.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to go with the yellow of our
Jesus Christ.
Our guest celebrity fan right here. I know you're doing
It is
to me. That's a great yellow. Is that canary? Is that big bird yellow? Yeah, I'm going to go with that. It's hopeful. Banana hammock yellow. That's what we're doing. Banana hammock yellow.
You son of a bitch.
That's a very
If you've both
contemporary
done this,
reference that I just heard.
Darby
Holly,
Schnarfus,
Brian Allen.
the fake wet boy, the fake amputee artist. Your color impressions of Crewzers FC, Toronto FC.
You know, Morgan, I've been giving this a lot of thought.
Do this.
A lot of thought. Sitting here really considering my options of a virtual rainbow, if you will, of possibilities. And I think ultimately what I'm going to choose to go with for my color impressions would be yellow, Morgan.
Jane, you ignorant slut.
Yellow like what, Darby?
Yellow like the beer culture that fills me up every single game.
I remember when I cared
Can I note
enough-
it for the record that neither Oliver, Darby,
Press a
nor
button.
myself planned that?
Greg, my color impression this
Yes.
week, I gave it a lot of thought as
I'm
opposed
sure
to
you
you
did.
shitlords who just did a bunch of bullshit to upset me, is the color.
Yellow Beach, Columbus Crew.
That's right, Greg, yellow.
Yellow like what, Morgan?
Yellow like Columbus Crew SC. Fan-fucking-tastic. What a rare treat segment 1 has been. I forgot to do color impressions. You guys fucked with my color choices. Our
He
man
wishes
balls
he's just forgotten it altogether.
strewn about. I've got some great news if you've enjoyed the shitlordery in segment 1. We got segment 2 coming right around the corner. Brian Allan 87, you know him from Twitter as the thing that I just said. He's going to talk to us about drumming, and he just deleted a bunch of apps off of his phone, and his life is pretty good. So stick around for all of that talk. My friends, you've made a poor decision by listening to ACES Radio.
Is this the part where we talk over the outro?
Alert. Darby Schnarfus has entered the game.
How dare you, sir?
Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Now we blasting off into the ozone. The way we kick it in the dojo is local for show. Though we paving the road that's opposed to the dodo. Going over your head like a top hat. Stop that. I know you hear me spitting these hot raps. Now watch that beat, cause it's about to drop. The Rockets is the 09 jump off. Yeah, yo. Last name Pan, first name Peter. I know you see me playing and you want me to teach you, but I say elevated so that all God's creatures can hear me shout it out like my name is Aretha. Getting RESPECT. Fly by, see the looks on your faces. Cause I'm in full EFFECT. Jet setting on a daily basis. David F, man. Don't stop. David. Don't stop. We can rock it till the city takes off. Mr. Captain. Yeah. I'm an ace pilot. Yeah. I wanna spin my wings and fly. To all my people in coach. Yeah. And to my first class folks. Yeah. We'll show you how to scrape the sky. As the curvature of the earth takes shape, fly fast forward like a videotape. And okay, just follow my jet stream. Proud in the clouds on the boom in your precinct. I'll have no trampoline. Black box in the pocket of my jet jeans. Shine with the stars so bright. Even NYC sees me. Good night.
Yeah, baby. If you're hearing the sound of my voice on segment 2, you've made the tragic failure of a mistake to stick with us from segments 1 to 2 of episode 45 of the dumpster fire known as ACES Radio. Sweet Jesus, what has become of your life? Brought to you as always by blood, urine, spit, salivia, Larry Turd, foot golf, and the dead rotting corpse of Kevin Burns. My name is Morgan Hughes. Welcome back, everyone. Darby Schnarfus, I want you to do something for me, pal.
No.
I want you to be a man on the street.
Okay.
In the absence of...
I can be a man, and I can go out on the street, so I've got all
How
the
long is that
parts.
microphone cord, though?
Tune in to segment
2
right
feet
now.
Fewer than it needs to be.
To find out. If only we had wireless mics, that would be real great. I left them at home.
Way to cheap out on the equipment there, Morgan.
Fan-fucking-tastic. Darby, if you could, I want you to go around the Latin term for podcast host, which is panel. The gaggle fuck, if you will, of celebrity fans in our presence. Talk to them real quick about why they're here, what they're doing with their lives, and what led them to making the mistake of listening to ACES Radio.
They're even moving to accommodate your poor equipment choices.
Moving
which is
away.
fantastic.
Actually, I was going to say they're
All
just shuffling away from you slowly.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Morgan says, talk about yourself and stuff.
Introduce yourself, say your first name, and what brought you to this trash podcast.
Hi, my name's Diane. I mistaken this door for the bathroom when I was walking to the bathroom, and so I came back here, and that guy was waving me back here, so I came back and listened.
That's actually how we started
about
broadcasting
almost an
here,
hour and a
too.
half
Is we just
now,
got lost
maybe.
looking for the
Yeah.
restroom.
In the bathroom?
Yeah.
54 minutes of Diane's worst day of her life.
That's about how most people become crew fans, basically. Like,
I
I thought this was a toilet, and it turns out it was entertaining. So.
I was trying to go to Ohio Stadium, and I ended up at Crew Stadium. This is fucking bullshit. That's what you sound like. All right, next celebrity guest. You might have to come closer.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow,
you're
I
definitely
do.
going to have to.
There you go.
Hi. Oh, they do. Well, I can move too.
There you go.
My name is Caitlin.
Caitlin.
I was on the way to the bathroom with Diane, and the guy with the weird Italian last name waved us in, and we were like, all right, why not? So that's how we ended up here.
That's how most people make bad decisions. Albert.
God knows what happens on the way to the bathroom, so yes, protecting each other. Oh, thank you.
Actually, you did a really bad job.
Oh,
No, you handled that like a
I
champion.
did, and we
Well
ended up
done.
back here, so I did not protect Diane. I'm sorry. My
Wonderful.
bad.
Caitlin, Diane, little Diddy, hanging out behind the Taste Freeze. Wonderful
We did.
to have you on
We
the
were.
show.
2 American kids.
Studio audience is loving you. Thank you for stopping by.
Why,
Please,
thank you.
please don't go to acesradio.com and download all the super hot jams. Next celebrity guest.
I'm Lauren, and I did not get lost on the way to the bathroom. Kayla and Diane drew us back here, but I stayed for the good time because you guys seem like a fun group of guys. Pretty entertaining.
That's true, yeah.
I wonder how
I noticed
feel
you-
if John Zadar wasn't
She
here.
totally got
It looked like she was about to say, "You seem like good people," but then like took one look at us and just paused. Like, no, I need
Did
to
you-
rephrase that.
Did you say Lauren or Lorne? Lauren, Lorn. That's a weird name. That's a weird name. Next celebrity guest.
My name is Quentin. That is the slave name, actually.
Quentin.
Most people would call me Gerard, and I made the mistake that most black men in America make, and that is following white women to a back room. So that is how I ended up at this podcast.
It's the worst decision to make.
I mean, to be fair, like the Grandview police are probably looking for you right now. So yeah, you might want to chill here.
Now,
for
do you
a
spell
while.
that Quentin?
No, that's a trap.
Yeah?
That is how they find me.
Yeah, and how do you and how do you? What's your social security number again? Quentin, if you keep being this hysterical, you're going to be the next guest host on ACES Radio. So watch your fucking step, my friend.
Guest host? He's going to fucking replace you.
The permanent host?
Like now, yeah.
Studio audience is in favor.
Do you know
of that.
anything about soccer?
The one in the goal, he can use his hands.
It's true.
You already know more than Morgan, so you're in.
Yeah, Morgan thinks there's only 5 players and they all use their hands because he's more of a basketball guy.
I'm a Larry Bird guy. Hey, the 4 of you guys have any of you guys ever been to a crew game? Okay, so all 4.
Everybody raise their hand because that's good radio to ask if people
like
yeah, way
more
to go,
than
Morgan.
one? Just one. Just
Wait,
one.
She said 15 years ago.
15 years ago?
Were you even born 15 years ago? Okay. Okay.
He
So your
said.
parents
He
brought you
says
as a
to the
baby.
woman
Okay.
holding a beer glass.
Very nice to have you guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. Do us a favor, and again, don't go to acesradio.com/hot deals. There's nothing to buy there. You could not be the celebrity guest sponsor of the week. Is that right, Greg?
You could absolutely not, and you should definitely not look into that.
Moving the fuck on to the actual segment 2. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would, welcome to the program none other than your favorite friend from twitter.com/hot deals, Brian Allan 87. Brian Allan 87.
Thank you as always, Morgan. I always remind you to go play in traffic. Back to you, Greg.
You just made a Master Report podcast.
That was
so how dare you?
That was wonderful. Is that reference even still relevant? On
I
Master
thought
Report?
about saying back to you, Matt, but I felt like that would be more awkward, so I just chose Greg instead.
You've just ruined
Yeah.
this entire. You know what? I feel like we need a reset.
Go ahead.
3, 2, 1.
This is international soccer celebrity Chris Doran, and you're listening to ACES Radio.
Chris Doran not actually in the studio tonight.
Yeah, if you've missed Chris Doran, he's currently in my apartment having sex with my dirty whore girlfriend. So, Brian Allan 87. We're going to start you off with the same question we ask of all of our celebrity guests, and that is, how would crew fans? No, yeah, okay. All right, he's putting the fucking sunglasses on. Is that what's happening? Is this going to be...
I'm like, wait a sec. Oh, please. Please put Walter on. Do you want this chair? I quit. I don't need to be here anymore. You've taken over.
Greg Benson has been replaced.
I have.
This is some of the most gangster shit. Did you guys plan this?
I've been literally thinking about this all week of how
None at all. We just wanted to make sure that like presidents of the United States, episode 45 was the worst of all.
1, 2, 3.
Derek had a lot of insight for me for this
delete
week.
Delete your
so.
account and walk out the door. So again, now how would crew fans know you? You unbelievable shitlord.
Truthfully, in all seriousness, most crew fans, people might not really know me. I don't really tend to
stand out.
Stand out a whole
Be
lot.
memorable. Do anything.
I just kind of show up. I'm sort of that awkward guy who stands off to the side and just, I don't know. I'm very introverted too, so I think that may have to do with part of it. I think if people maybe recognize me, they might recognize DJ Kev and I kind of drum every game. So that was something like I've been playing for about 21 years now. And so I kind of just, from being at games, and I'll talk a little bit more about that, but just kind of started doing that and helping out. And so it's just a way for me to be involved in my own level, and so that maybe that's how some people.
The answer we were actually looking for is I'm the white guy with a flat brim hat and glasses and a beard at soccer games, because that's what everyone looks like there. So the second question, as always, is where are you from?
I am Columbus native, born and raised on the southeast side in Groveport, Ohio. Groveport Madison High School, home of the
fighting
Crewzers
horses.
Yeah, fighting horses. Who during my freshman to senior year, I don't think we won maybe 1 or 2 football games, so we're pretty terrible. We are Calvin Booth, though, NBA player, so I know you're kind of a basketball guy.
More of a basketball guy.
So Le'Veon Bell, too, that's another one. Eric Smith played for the Jets. I think he actually coaches for the Jets.
Le'Veon Bell, the turncoat communist that went to Michigan State.
Yeah, well, Eric Smith actually went to Michigan State, too, so those are the only 2 NFL players that we've had that both went to Michigan State.
Oh, sorry. Everyone hates Michigan State.
And is the team actually called the Horses? Because I've seen
fighting horses.
No, the fighting horses. No. I mean, it was
It's a really long story. They're
because
called
anybody with a horse mascot over here is almost always called Broncos or Colts or Mustangs or something like that. Like I've never heard the horses.
Like, it's a really
other
weird
words
thing.
for horses except for horse.
Yeah, what is Groveport Madison?
What do you mean?
The Lady Boys?
The Groveport Madison Crewzers. So I'm not going to tell the whole story because obviously
are you
Crewzers
genuinely?
boring. Yeah, Crewzers. So like essentially the horse mascot was an actual horse that back in the late 1800s, whenever that was an actual like I don't know. It's kind of like a wild stallion, and somebody tamed it, and its name was Crewzer. And so actually, it's really weird. The movie Horse Whisperer, which I know nobody in here has ever heard of because I didn't even hear
That's
about it.
What they called me in high school. Other than tripod.
That's kind of where that came from. I think is sort of our history of how Groveport.
So you went to Groveport Madison Crewzers FC.
Yes.
Your teams were very terrible.
Yes, very terrible.
Many times you thought of taking your own life. You said, I can't sit through any more of these losing seasons. So the natural progression is to get involved with Columbus Crewzers FC.
Yes.
The team that never loses. How'd you get into the crew, you shitlord?
So, okay, this is going to seem actually really kind of boring probably and really lame.
Set it up.
So yeah, it's great. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to surpass Shrek Mecca, AGS Attack, anybody for being the worst person you've had, other than like the first 5-minute intro there, which was great.
Yeah.
But essentially, like my kind of getting into crew soccer really starts with just me getting into soccer in general. The only experience with like actually playing soccer I had, I did like the U6 and U8 leagues when I was younger. As a kid growing up, though, like I have an older brother, so when you're a younger brother, anything that your older brother either says, does, if they think it's cool, if they think it's dumb, you're like, yeah, that's exactly how I feel too.
Carl Allan, 87.
Yeah, Carl Allan, 87.
Yeah.
So my brother kind of had this idea, like, you know, him and one of his friends, like, you know, soccer's a girl sport. It's not a real sport.
That's what
it's
people
really
are saying.
dumb, you know. And so I kind of had that for a while. Like that's how I thought. But my natural progression kind of came in from number one. It kind of started around in college. I may or may not have kind of had a girl that I was interested in that played soccer. So that sort of had something to do with it. But part of it too was I actually had an opportunity to spend some time overseas in Northern Ireland, which was really cool.
The old country of Europe.
Yeah, the old country of Europe.
Yeah.
And so I worked with an organization. We did youth work. We worked with really kind of like middle school, high school age students. And really a lot of that was just to build relationships with them, kind of get them from being out of trouble. But a lot of that too was like trying to submerge myself in kind of the culture in Eastern Europe like that. And so part of that is Soccer is a very huge thing. Rugby's a very big thing. And
Rugby's a terrible sport. No one should watch it.
Rugby's a cool sport. And they also, in Ireland, they have a really cool sport called Gaelic as well. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. It's kind of like... it's sort of like soccer, but you can also use your hands as well. It's really weird.
Soccer mixed with Aussie rules, basically.
Yeah, basically. So it's a very, very handsy sport.
Okay. I'm the number one handsy boy, so I'm listening.
Why just set it up for it there, Brian?
Just called it themselves.
I totally set it up for you. Took it.
Like Gaelic is just the adjective term for Irish, right? So they
Yeah.
just fucking name the game after themselves.
Yeah.
It's a Latin term for soccer.
It would almost be like a sport called American football.
Essentially.
Except without football.
You get back
It's
from
yeah, but
sport
where do
American.
What do you think it's called everywhere else?
Stupid.
Well, that too.
Probably that. So you get back from the old country of Europe, and you says to yourself, I need to get down to the tiny demon fortress brought to you by ZZ Boots, Wildman's Leather and Lace.
Yeah. It actually kind of started almost a little bit before that, though, too. But again, that was kind of like my precursor into getting back into the sport of soccer. And so really where that kind of led me to was, English Premier League stuff. I mean, because again, over there, that's really all that they are kind of into, a lot of it. And so I started kind of watching that, but at the same time, it's going to sound really stupid again. But I had kind of seen this comment of like, well, hey, if you're going to be an American and support a European soccer team, really you should start at a local level.
Yeah.
And I had never really thought of that before. I'm like, well, we have the Columbus Crew here. I've never been to a game before. I've never watched it. Let's go and check it out. So, my first game was, I'm trying to think, could have been a couple years ago, the home opener where we played Montreal. I think we won 2-1 or something like that. But I sat up on the west side, all the way at the very top. It was freezing cold that day too.
West side.
But for me, again, to kind of get submerged into that crew culture, it started there. But again, I was one of those people, typical. I sat up top and looked down and saw the Nordeca, and
Fuck
I'm like,
boys.
essentially.
Yeah.
But I said that looks awesome.
How many games until you went from being a fuckboy to being in the Nordeca?
Literally, the very next game I went to, I was like, I'm going to sit in the
So it
Nordeca.
took one
and
game.
I sat in the Nordeca. I'm
All
like,
right.
this is great. I love it. And I kept coming back for a little while. And then I ended up actually moving out of state. I moved to the state of Iowa for about a year and a half.
God, why?
I had a job, so I kind of moved out. It was actually
Had a job.
It's okay. I had a job.
Yeah.
I worked at a church out there. I was a pastor on staff, but I came back, and once I came back, I kind of followed the crew after through that as well. But once I came back, I said, you know what, it's time to get serious about this. I was really really caught up in following games and watching games all the time. Gambling debt. But I had an MLS Live account out there too, so every single game I was able to catch, it was awesome. When I came back, I said, let's find a way to try to get more involved, especially since you're here at home. And so the very first game that we played that year, which literally so I've been a season ticket member for, this is my third year.
Oh, way to use the right terminology too. God,
so
this guy's a fucking pro.
So my very first,
He's done his homework.
My very first year of being a season ticket member, we go to MLS Cup final. Tell me how crazy that is too. Which but we lose, which that obviously sucked. But that was a very magical year, especially when you're somebody who you've kind of been on the edge of
to get immersed in that year.
Yeah, and it was weird. And my now fiance at the time, when we had first started dating.
Nope, everyone hates girls.
Hey,
you shouldn't get involved with them. They're gonna leave their shit all over your house.
Yeah,
those fucking hair things, those hair pins.
Yeah,
they're gonna be fucking everywhere.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna put one here. Put one next to your sink.
Put one here. Put one there.
Gonna leave one on your sink just because I'm a girl. That's what I do.
But at the time, it really was that. That was a very magical season. So for somebody who had just started to kind of get submerged fully into crew culture because you're here in Columbus, you have that ability to do that. That was a really magical season, and my fiance at the time didn't understand it because she's like, I don't understand. That's all you ever talk about. I'm like, this is incredible. It's the most amazing thing I've ever experienced in my entire life.
You get balls deep in it.
Yeah, it was great, and so. Pretty much from there on out, though, like I said, after that very first game at Houston, I went to the watch party at Fido's, and they had ticket reps there. We're like, hey, who wants to sign up for season ticket membership? And I totally did that, and it's been pretty much game to game ever since. So
Morgan's
Nice.
not here.
So you were? Did you say you were at the away game? The away game at Houston?
No, that was like they did a watch party at Fido's. Frankie and everybody was there, but they had like season ticket reps and stuff that were there, and were like, hey, is anybody interested?
Did they really at an away at like a watch party? They had season ticket people.
Yeah,
like,
they had. I mean, they had people who were there to get and like I don't blame them for that either. Like that's their job. They want people to invest in the crew, and what better way to do that than to have people who want to invest in and being a season ticket member. And so,
well, Brian, what if I told you that we as soccer fans are supposed to be upset about the fact that there's a business behind the footy lads on the pitch, the soccer boots?
I mean, it is what it is. Again, at the end of the day, it's a club, it's a business, and the whole point is that won't be there though if there's not a business side to that. And so, that's all that is.
Studio audience love that answer. So you come back from the old country of Europe, and you say to yourself, I'm now immersed. Kai Kamara is my dude. Harrison Awful scoring 26 goals. Sign me the fuck up, Phil Goldfarb.
Yeah.
I want in. I want to talk to
Is it
JP
Phil Goldfarb
Lecoq.
or Phil Goldfart?
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
Yeah,
Okay.
a little bit of both.
I was just curious.
So earlier you mentioned that you were a 20-year drummer, man.
Yeah.
One of the top drummer boys in the game right now.
Yeah.
So how did you go about?
Some people call me number one drummer boy.
Is that right?
I think so.
I don't
Drumsy
remember
boy.
hearing that.
Drumsy boy.
I don't remember hearing that at all.
That's a word on the street.
No.
Okay.
Hey,
A lot of people are saying
I heard number one drummer boy. Do you hear what I hear?
Also, can I just say real quick that pointing back to that thing where I feel like I might be the worst guest that you've ever had on here.
Sure.
That literally as soon as I start talking, the entire studio audience leaves.
Oh,
I just wanted to point that out. So
I mean, they stuck around for at least 5 minutes.
yeah, 5 minutes. They heard me talking
Goddamn
enough. And they're like, this,
catastrophe interview.
I think what you said, Iowa. They checked.
Yeah, I think
that was
so.
pretty much it.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the weird thing though. Like where I lived in Iowa, it's in between Iowa and Des Moines and Iowa City.
Is it heaven?
It was actually pretty cool.
All right.
I mean, I don't know. It's I hear a lot of people call it like the Upper Arlington of Iowa. It's just very safe. Walk down the street. Streets are paved with gold. It's great. So
I see what you're doing.
There are a lot of white people there, so it makes sense.
A lot of Jeep Renegades running around right
Now
now.
that I think about it,
Actually, oddly enough,
a lot of lacrosse players.
there are a lot of Jeeps running people over though. That was the one thing I think that was like super crazy that happened while there is there's some crazy
The kid got run over
lady
by a
that
Nissan
tried
Pathfinder.
to murder her husband by running him over with her Jeep.
Are you making fun of me, or is that
No,
something
that's
that
like
actually
that's like a serious thing.
Oh, shit.
Not everything
Yeah.
is about you,
Not
Morgan.
everything's
I got
about
run
you.
over by a Nissan Pathfinder.
Not hard enough, clearly.
Have I literally never told that story?
Sorry, I'm trying to be
I don't think
sympathetic
so.
there, but like Morgan's telling us a story about how I literally got hit by a car.
The one time he tries to tell a serious story and we just laugh at him because
right.
That's how it works.
That's how it works. Yeah.
The day before, the last day of 8th grade. So if you volunteered your time, I'm just going to take over your segment real quick, Brian, if that's all right.
Yeah,
Nobody wants to hear about Brian.
So if you did a bunch of volunteer work during 8th grade, you get the last day of school off.
Who drives in 8th grade though?
Wait for it.
Okay.
Tune into right now to find out. So my friend and I, we volunteered at the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium, brought to you by ZZ Boots, Wild Man's Leather and Lace. And so we literally scooped elephant shit and untangled Christmas lights from the zoo lights thing for you had to do 7,000 fucking hours. We did it because we didn't want to go to school on the last day.
Yeah.
So what do I do the day before the last day of school? I didn't even do it that day. It was a Sunday, so we would have got Monday off. I was rollerblading because obviously I'm really fucking old with my friends, and my neighbor who lived across the street from me pulls up to me, and they were all in front of me, and he's like, "Hey, you want to catch up with your friends?" And I'm a Back to the Future guy, and I said, "Yeah, I've seen Michael J. Fox. I've seen that he grabs onto cars.
Yeah,
and they just so me being a fucking idiot, I grab onto the side of the car, not the back."
That's not Michael J. Fox. Yeah,
the side. That's just Morgan.
That's Morgan.
Yeah. So this guy goes 30 miles an hour. I can't fucking... There's no way, right?
That's at least 58 short of where he needs to be, by the way.
I fell, and my momentum, as I landed awkwardly, and it took me under the car. And this Nissan Pathfinder, and I was rolling, so it rolled over literally my genitals, smashed.
That explains a lot.
And then I turned, so it came up the middle of my chest.
They're not so perfectly formed anymore.
And I'm still turning, so it just kind of goes off the side of my right shoulder before it hits my fucking head. So yes, I thought you were.
So you almost died.
On next week's hot takes from user unnamed Nissan Pathfinder driver.
Yes. So then I'm just going to keep telling the story. This is
That's
a
right.
great story.
So how did you have serious road rash from that too, or like?
I would say 40% of my body was covered in road rash. So I get to
Also, you were
Riverside.
dead.
Dude. I mean, so when you have massive internal injuries like that, you can't really see on the outside aside from the road rash. So these guys get here. My right lung was collapsed. My left lung was lacerated. My liver was lacerated. My collarbone was fucking poking out. Everything. I mean, I just got run over by a car going 30 miles.
But the sausage fingers were okay.
Sausage fingers. That's how they got like this. So the guy's like, "Can you stand up?" And I grabbed him by the neck skin, and I'm like, "Kill me," because I couldn't fucking breathe, dude. I'm drowning above.
Wait,
ground.
the EMT is you just got run over by a car. Can you fucking stand up for me?
But people, the thing is, nobody knew.
I mean, this was
it happened so
the
quickly.
70s, I understand.
Yeah,
so medicine wasn't where it is now.
So, only 3 people saw it happen. So only 3, fucking 11-year-old kids knew that I got run over by a car. And the guy's like, "Can you get up?" And I'm like, "Kill me." And so we eventually get to the fucking hospital, and they make me do these stretching exercises to get X-rays.
Before they fix you up?
Before they knew what the fuck was wrong with me.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, I can't do this. And I couldn't even fucking talk, man.
I don't understand. I don't know if you understand this or not, but I'm
Right.
bleeding into my lungs right now, so I can't really.
So they get the X-rays back, and they're like, "Okay, lay down." So they wheeled me into the emergency surgery room, and the doctor on call says, I'm going to level with you. This is going to be the most painful 7 minutes of your life, because I had to have surgery afterwards to have a bunch of shit done, but they had to fix all the life-threatening things immediately.
Yeah.
He's like, "This is going to be 7 minutes of hell. We're going to lay you on your side, and we're going to let you look at a clock and just count down 7 minutes, and I can't offer you anything other than that." So they slice my chest open on the side, and they put rib separators in and go...
while you were awake?
Oh, yeah. No pain medicine, nothing. So
I'm seriously explaining a lot.
I'm completely awake, no pain medicine. The guy's in there fixing my lung, working on a bunch of other shit, putting my ribs back together.
I like that it only took them 2 or 3 hours to figure that out too before they started.
And it took 21 minutes. It was not.
It was not 7 minutes.
Yeah.
He's like,
I counted it.
What are you gonna do? Sorry, I'm gonna stop because I said 7 minutes.
Right.
7 minutes a limit.
You have to count for. You have to count for.
You just got
7 minutes.
Utensils down, step away from the oven.
Yes.
Time's up, Iron Chef.
So I was in the hospital for 3 weeks or some shit, and let's fast forward to that part. So the first night I was there, this old guy dies in my room.
He wasn't even a patient. Just someone walked in and died.
I get wheeled into this room. There's this old man, and he's dead within 5 hours, right? And I'm just like, I finally have morphine at this.
So much.
At this point, I'm high on morphine, so I'm like, "Whoa, man! I feel like I can leave now." So
that's his Frankie voice, incidentally.
I don't.
It's funny how Frankie Haydock sounds exactly like Morgan Hughes on morphine.
Eighth grade Mo. Yeah. So I finally get another roommate after a week of nothing, right? And it's this guy, and the only way I can explain this is just say it. He was a gang member that got caught by another gang, and they put a goddamn gun in his anus and shot him.
What?
This literally happened. Anybody?
I believe you. That's
right.
the weird thing.
So something happened when they shot him where there was a lot of buildup, and
I feel like that's a practical joke. Hey, how funny would that be if I just pretended like I did that, and then you accidentally shoot them in the anus, and then they die?
That would be hysterical. You're right about that.
Yeah.
It's a good transition to the main point about that guy is that now remember I had broken everything in my chest.
Yes.
And I can't fucking move. It's any breathing is painful. Existing is painful. So I then get a fucking roommate who got shot in the butthole. And anytime he farts, it's it is...
It sounds like an Uzi. Just
not only does it sound like an Uzi, the dude is unleashing all this painful fucking buildup in his chest. So he's farting like an Uzi and going, "Yeah, yeah." And and when he did this, my brothers were in the room sometimes, and we can't even look at each other without cracking up. And this guy is farting
right there.
like a fucking machine gun and going, "Yeah."
That's some gangster stuff.
I do know that you can skip over question 6 tonight, and for every guest for the future, because this is everyone's favorite off-field memory now.
So I start fucking dying laughing because this guy is farting and going, "Oh yeah," and it's like breaking shit in my chest.
Was it like, "Oh yeah"? I was like, "Oh yeah," you do for the intro too.
Like, "Oh yeah,"
what happened to it?
Or like
That's
Macho
where the
Man.
show intro
That's
came
where the
from.
show
That's
intro
right.
came from.
Oh,
All right,
yeah,
Well,
baby.
that's what I was asking. So I just
So
wanted
I'm
to
grabbing
clarify.
my shit, and the nurse comes in eventually because I'm laughing too hard, and I'm like, everything fucking hurts. And she's like, well, where does it hurt? I'm like, well, here. And that's when they realize that and you can see my fucking collarbones, how this one's gigantic and this one isn't.
Put your shirt back on, Morgan.
How dare you? That's when they discovered that I had another broken
It's all right. He's got
bone
30
sticking
other
out.
grey T-shirts at home.
That was my story about getting run over by a car, and then on the first day of fucking high school, so that ruined my entire summer, right? That ruined my entire summer.
Take this and run with it.
Here's the last part. The first day of high school, this girl walks up to me in the parking lot. This girl that I had a crush on for like 13 years, right? And she goes, oh, what happened to you? Like, they came on the announcements at school and said you were dead. I'm like, I don't care. This girl is talking to me. Awesome. And in my fucking child brain, I was like, she wants to see all of my scars. And so I take my fucking shirt up. And I just look in the middle of the first day of school. I'm like, look at like expose the nipples and everything.
You look like Frankenstein, essentially.
And she's like, I don't know what you're doing. I'm like, oh yeah, you didn't ask to see my scars. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm just an awkward child.
Although it does explain how your perception of who's dead and who is not is completely askew.
Yeah. I'm just going to keep going. So, fucking it's ACES Radio. So the second day of school. Now, I have to walk around all day knowing that it's not only the first day of high school, so I'm the most awkward child ever. And you think I have a lot of acne as an adult? Look at me when I'm a kid. So I have to walk around all day having just
look at
flashed
Derek.
my 13-year-old crush, right? The next day, I go to work that night because I started illegally working in a restaurant called Chow in Upper Arlington when I was 12. I go to work that day, and I get fucking smashed in the face by a metal object. That's the scar on my head, in the middle of my forehead. I have to then go to the second day of high school with 100 stitches in my face, wearing a medical turban.
Yeah. So you don't have to pull your shirt up anymore.
That's
just pull your medical turban back. That's way less creepy.
You'd be
2
profiled
days.
for that nowadays.
2 days. Unbelievable embarrassment. That's why everyone hates me. I ruined the Nordic. And that was that year.
That's what I heard. That's
That
what
was
I've heard.
1995.
That's a strong finish.
Fucking A.
All right,
We'll
well.
just edit all that out. In 3,
here's the
2,
thing.
1.
Right.
Clap.
So at first I was like, oh, no, Brian, it's not that you're quiet and unnoticeable. And then I realized that you literally started telling your fucking life story over what is supposed to be his story. So I think, sadly,
that's
you're
all
right. Like, you are such a wallflower that Morgan just is like, fuck it, I'm taking this over.
Darby, before we respond to that, I do have to say that when I was 14 months old, I'm crawling around, right, on my aunt and uncle's floor. They have a Doberman Pinscher.
This needs the piano background.
That my shithead uncle at the time bought in front of Carfagna's from like a fucking weird guy, right? An attack dog, a former attack dog.
The 161 Carfagna.
Yes.
Not the new
Correct.
fancy one at Polaris.
And not the old one in UA, the one near the continent. He buys this attack dog, and I'm crawling around.
He's
fucking
literally
with its food.
telling an entire story. I thought he was
I'm
just like
gonna do-
joking,
I'm
but
gonna
he
do
was actually
everything.
telling another story.
I'm going to do everything. Now is the thing. This dog attacks me, grabs me, and just and rips my head open. That was like 170 stitches in like my child head. My mom, this is the best part. My mom. So you always hear like people with a.
Did you have another medical turban then too?
I mean, I was under
Turbans
2
got
years
turbans.
old. I have no fucking
Turban
idea.
on
I don't know how
turbans.
turbans work.
Turbanception.
So that my mom grabs me with one arm,
three of them.
and this full-grown male Doberman Pinscher with another, with her left arm, and throws it over her head across the room, and breaks a coffee table with this dog. That's what people have. That's why people have human strength when they're in peril. Greg Benson, back to you.
Do you think evolution took one look at you and was like, I'm fucking trying to kill him. I don't understand why. You're like James Bond at this point. If I want you, just die.
It's like his entire life is Final Destination played out. Like, seriously, the fucking universe wants you to die.
So right
Won't you
before
die.
the car accident, I was giving my friend shit in 8th grade math class. Right before class started, I was giving him shit. I'm like, like just kind of how we do on ACES Radio. He kicked me in the balls so hard that
Did
it
you have a
broke
ball
apart.
turban?
It broke apart my goddamn stomach lining.
Oh my god!
Fucking hell.
So obviously that's a hernia.
You have
That's
the worst luck, man.
It was during basketball season, and I tried to ignore it. And
that's fun.
And I went to I went to a couple practices, played in the game, and it was just the most painful shit ever. But I'm not going to go to the doctor in the middle of basketball season because I knew something was seriously wrong with me. The middle of the night one night, it's probably a month before the car accident.
Did you start peeing blood?
I woke up in the middle of the night and I was in the most intense
Blood and urine.
testicular
I
pain.
feel like, man, that's such a great.
I reached down. My left ball is the size of a grapefruit. and I have to literally lay on my back and call my mother at the top of my lungs, say, Mom, please come in here. My testicles. There's something wrong with my testicles. You can go ahead and edit that into a drop in 3, 2, 1. And I think we've officially covered all of my fucked up shit.
I just want to know who you're hanging out with that considers a falcon kick to the balls normal behavior.
His name is Sean Ryan. You can follow him on Twitter, I think at SRR Border. That was at least his instant messenger and AOL.
SRR, you're welcome, Morgan.
That's right.
.com
How long? So I was, okay, once I started, I was like, how long can I fucking make this? How long do you think that just went? Like 35 minutes?
It wouldn't shock.
How long did that go?
Oh, that was great. That was great.
Of course, it doesn't matter because you're not recording right now.
Yeah, I actually am.
No, we're still in segment 2, believe it or not.
You guys know I fucked up the beginning of segment 2. We had to re-record it.
Yes, you did.
Brian Allen 87.
Yes.
Can you please?
Oh, he's
get
still
back on
here.
track?
I'm still here. Thank you for having me, Morgan. Just
Wonderful to
remind
have
you
you
as
back.
always.
Brian
Playing traffic.
Allen 87.
Yeah, this is why the studio audience fucked off about 30 minutes ago.
Yeah.
If they didn't leave then,
Imagine
they
if they
surely
were
would have
here.
left by now.
So you get involved with Crew SE fandom.
Yeah.
Can we finally get back on the rails? Jesus. You get involved with Crew SE fandom. You become a celebrity fan of sorts on the Twitter.
Of sorts. I mean, again, really, I'll just kind of segue into that. I think that the drumming thing kind of came about because, truthfully, again, like I'm pretty quiet. Like I said, I don't really like to get involved a whole lot.
People tell stories over your stories.
Yeah, people tell stories over my stories. It's crazy. But I really think, again, it was just I found a spot in the Nordeck and a couple games. Like I was just sort of like stood in the same spot essentially. And like I said, I was standing up, right next to Ryan and Alexis and Kevin and Heather. And so there would be points, like as the season kind of went along, like Kevin would leave to, go get something to drink, go do whatever. And Heather would start playing and they would need somebody to play. And I'm like, well, I can kind of fill in on that for you. And that sort of engaged this conversation with Kevin of like, hey, do you drum? And I'm like, well, yeah, absolutely. He's like, well, do you want me to bring a drum for you next game?
I like to play.
I like to play. And so I was like, sure, yeah. Like I've been playing for, over 20 years. And I think that would be really fun. And, again, like I really felt like that was kind of a way for me to very subtly like get involved in a way that like it didn't really require me to, I don't know, like put myself out there too much. I kind of just, do something like, and again, like we'll kind of get, I think, even down further when we get into some other questions, but like it just gives me an opportunity to use the talent that I have, but also be able to do that to help better, I guess, the Nordeca in a way, and up the lads and like to sort of bring people together and kind of a unity. So that was very cool.
Well, what if somebody else out there that's listening to ACES Radio, one of the 17 listeners, wants to be a drummer in the Nordeck? How would they go about doing that?
Yeah, I mean, I know that people ask Kevin that all the time too, and I've just kind of overheard a little bit of answer from that. I mean, if they're interested in being involved with that, I mean, come talk to me, come talk to Kevin. We'd definitely love to have you. I mean, obviously, in some ways, we want you to have some kind of rhythm because if you don't, it tends to throw everything off a little bit. Thomas. And like, Alex Thomas. They actually call me the on-beat drummer, so I think that kind of outweighs Alex Thomas a little bit too, by the way. So there's a little burn on him, yeah.
So you guys stand in the middle of 141.
Yeah, we did. I actually kind of like that. That was
7 rows up.
7 rows up, something like that. I kind of like that. It's definitely been weird, I think, this year as opposed to the last 2 seasons. Most of La Turbina is not really here anymore. So I don't really know any of them a whole lot, but it was just something that, again, like making that move from kind of like where the big drum used to be and then kind of moving it all into one section. It's really cool, and it allows us to kind of create our own, dare I say, click, because clicks, and I feel like the Nordeck is a negative thing. But
and it's worked out really well.
Yeah, it's worked out very well. I mean, it just allows us to kind of get to know each other a little bit, and it's been a lot of fun. So I definitely think that it's something that was definitely a good move too. And I think with the kind of the installation of having capos now too has sort of allowed us to...
Oh, sorry. That automatically plays when you mention Andy Hubbard.
That's a weird thing because I actually, for a while, when I came in, being somebody who, again, I haven't been around since the 96 year and, I'm on from there and whatnot. And I know that there was this stigma of like, hey, like we don't need capos, and I know again that was something like for the people who've been around for a long time, that was something they were really against, and I'm somebody who was new, and I'm like, I think that would potentially be kind of cool, I guess in a way. Like in some ways though, I'm like, I hate it too, but I think that's been pretty cool, especially again like having us kind of be centralized as well and sort of unified in that as well. It's definitely made.
It's called being a human.
Yeah, it's called being a human.
Yeah, it's like I have a belief, and then I learned otherwise, and I can still feel kind of.
But like I think the real cool thing about that though, again, is like those two things. It's really, at least so far this season, I feel like has made a pretty significant like change. It's been really good, I think, for the Nordeca, and hopefully as we kind of progress, we'll be able to figure out ways to improve on that a little bit more too. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's how projects work.
Yeah,
you're never in your final form, especially when you're talking about involving 3,000 people at once. So
and that's very difficult. And again, I think like part of that drumming thing again too, of having people centralized, because even still. I feel like there's sometimes where we're just a little bit off, and there's a million different chants going and drums and stuff, because like we were in one section and then La Tribuna was in the other. But now again, it kind of brings it together, and again, having that kind of capo thing sort of brings stuff together a little bit more, and it sounds a little bit better.
It makes things better. It makes you want to kill yourself. It makes you want to drink poison a little bit, but it creates a better atmosphere, no doubt. So you've been around now for a couple years, and it's 2016. It's the year of the dumpster fire at Crewzers FC Stadium, and you says to yourself, there's a podcast.
Yes,
in Columbus, it happens to be a top 30 Buffalo Bills podcast in the outer belt of 270.
Hashtag Bills Mafia.
My question to you is, why listen to ACES Radio? Why get involved in this? Why come to Zauber Brewing Company? Why be a guest of the week? Why ACES Radio?
Okay, so this is one of those weird things where, like, since I was here last week, I feel like, with Steve, he was very kind of genuine in his answers, and I think that, like, hopefully this will be kind of genuine in and of itself as well.
Sure.
But like for me, let's face it too. I was like, cool, like there's another like crew podcast, but let's face it as well. Like this is 10% crew, 90% whatever else.
Jokes.
And in some ways, but I think that like this can sound really stupid. I used to listen to the other crew podcast that was around for a while.
Podcast for Columbus.
Yeah, Podcast for Columbus. No, but like you and Greg used to be on that, and I enjoy that. Like you guys are really insightful, you're really funny as well. And so like I kind of like stumbled across. I don't even remember how I stumbled across ACES Radio, but like the very first podcast, which was like terrible because you had like the reverb or like echo stuff on it, was awful. And I remember like I listened to it. Where was I at? I think I was in like the brewery district for some reason. I'm like, what is this? It sounds terrible, but like I know it'll be good because like, like Morgan and John are pretty funny, I guess, and so it was good.
Not Greg.
Yeah, I was going to thanks.
Greg didn't come along until later. That's okay.
Segment. Episode 3.
Yeah. Episode 3.
There were 2 episodes without Greg, and we talk about it. It's like, before the Greg era.
In the dark times.
ACES Radio 1.0.
In the long, long ago.
No, but I really think that like number one, I just enjoyed it. I enjoyed what you guys did do on on Massive Report, and so to be able to have you guys kind of lead that too, I think has been really cool. But I mean, a lot of it too is like for me, it really comes down to just like humor too. Like I think that the world that we kind of live in is sort of dark and dismal a lot of times, and so having an opportunity to listen to something and be able to laugh every once in a while too, on top of like hearing something that you're passionate about, I think that when you combine those two things, it makes for a really good program. And I know, especially like I know it's very like jokingly self-deprecating and stuff like that on ACES Radio, but like I really do think that you guys do a great job, and I mean that's what keeps me listening from week to week. Like it's just it's humorous, but it's also again like when it comes down to it, like there is crew stuff involved in there too, and so that's something that I'm passionate about. So when you get both of those, again, it's just something that's enjoyable to listen to, and that's why I choose to listen. So
I think that your answer is, first of all, you're right. Greg is awful, and
yes.
the show has been complete fucking failure since he showed up on episode 3. But one of my favorite people on the subreddit known as a Massive is Doobie, Because that guy shows up sometimes, guy or girl, and he's like, "You guys only talk about the crew. You barely talk about the crew." I'm like, well, okay, yeah. Well, you figured that out. That's good.
It's a different kind of podcast, though, and so
we're a community. We're a community thing. Like crew fans, the best thing about crew fans is like if you just come and you just hang out, you're gonna make like 10 of the best friends of your entire fucking life, and that's what this is. Like people are like, "Oh, you'll never understand all the inside jokes." Like. But unless you fucking listen to it, then eventually you're going to get it. It's just a bunch of friends talking shit about each other.
But here's the thing I would challenge with that too is that for people who complain about how maybe ACES Radio is not like, well, it's not just like crew exclusive, but at the same time, like, would you really sit and listen to a nonstop crew podcast for 2 hours? I mean, and in some ways, like pre-ACES Radio, you had Massive Report, but you guys were on it, so in some way that like. That had humor and made it a little. And this is not to take a knock at Massive Report like they do that.
No, he's just saying it's dull and unfunny.
Yeah. Especially, I'll meet you on the conference call.
Yeah, meet you on the conference call in 20 minutes. No, but like I think that's like I think that's a reasonable argument, and that you can complain about it all you want, but I think that this is from day one, from episode 1, has been something where, like, I think that you even said, like, this is not like going to be necessarily crew all the time. Like, we take a look at crew culture with specific people and their stories, especially, and like that's different and unique that like no other podcast out there has. We could sit here and talk crew games all day. We could sit here and talk players and Tam and Gam and Don Garber and whoever else you want to, Gerger Burger Herger or whoever his name is. Yeah, that's actually like that's the way I like to say it. I know you say Gerger Burger Herger, but Gerger Burger Herger, that's a really good one too.
That's the Swedish chef right there.
Gerger Burger Herger. Anyways, and
we're making a substitution, yeah, but at the wrong time and the wrong player.
Or Nicky Aces. Anyways,
it explains all the Scandinavian players all of a sudden.
There's 3 of those, Morgan.
Is there?
Is there 3? I feel like there's more than that.
Maybe.
No.
That's a
fact.
man.
Oh, there it is.
Download the third one.
No, so like I think that sets that apart though, and like in a way, it's something that crew fandom. How many years has Massive Report been around for?
A lot of people are saying way too many.
but no, seriously, like how long has it been around for?
I think that they started that in
2009. It's been a little while, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and so this is something that is different.
Yeah.
From that, because again, like. They're not necessarily looking at in some ways before maybe they're looking at the cultural side of things too, but like this is different and unique, and so I think for me that like that kind of sets ACES Radio apart from other crew podcasts, whatever that might be. So
our intention is to never take ourselves or anyone else too seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
That's good.
It's Columbus Crew SC, man. Like part of the allure of our franchise is it's a small market team. If you come to enough games, you're probably going to meet like half of the front office, most of the players.
Yeah.
The security guards are going to know you.
Yeah.
ACES Radio operates like that.
Yeah.
Like we have inside jokes. We talk about each other. Like the front office, they're going to get roasted right along with us. Connor Casey, he's going to OD on donuts, and we're going to fucking celebrate him. We're going to bury him in the same shallow grave as Kevin Burns.
Here's a question though too. So where does he like if he gets his donuts?
Yeah.
Where does he get them from? Is he like a Jolly Pirate guy or is he like a Krispy Kreme guy? That's what I want to know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that's like a Tim
there.
Hortons with like donut, the little donut holes. Like I need to know that. That's a very serious question.
He goes from one to the other, and he eats the previous purchase while he's driving to the other.
Okay.
Yeah. And then he stops and he ruins our fucking MLS Cup franchise. So, favorite off-field memory. This is Greg's favorite question.
Yeah.
Besides Morgan getting hit by a car.
Here's the weird thing. For somebody like me, is it okay if I actually make it an on-the-field memory? Because
You can
like
do whatever you want.
from off-the-field memory, like I would definitely say it's been like getting to know you guys and being a part of ACES Radio and sitting in on it, which like
answer.
that's the right answer.
Yeah.
But getting to know like Ryan and Alexis and Kevin and Heather has been really cool. But for me, I feel like for part of it, it's been more on the field memory stuff. There's a couple of really cool things that come to mind. Again, like number one is, again, my first year as a season ticket member, what a magical season that was to be able to be like, and I would tell people that, I'm like, that was your first season? Like, you guys started off and went all the way to MLS Cup final, and then maybe you blew it, and like,
nobody even remembers what happened.
Yeah, that's fine. And you can blame that on that on Steve Clark all you want. He's a great guy, whatever. But number two, I think that really there's two on the field memories. Number one, I mean, I'm obviously not going to be able to say, hey, like we won the MLS Cup and 2008, whatever. But for me, again, really it was the Kai Kamara header to send us into the Eastern Conference Final.
Yeah.
For somebody who, like, I grew up, I've done soccer, I've done tennis, I've done football, I've done baseball, I've done basketball. Crazy enough, like I'm a sports guy. Some people call me a sportsman.
No one says
that. So some people do.
I've been listening to the streets, man. I've been listening to the streets a lot.
Streets of Upper
experts.
What is that?
That's from Sesame Street.
Is that from Sesame Street?
The word on the street.
That's the word on the street.
Yeah.
I don't know what character that is.
What is that from?
It's from Sesame Street.
Sesame Street.
Oh, right. No, I mean,
Hey, Morgan. What's that from?
no, fuck off.
Hey.
I mean, which?
Fuck John.
I'm
Put your
trying to
phone down, Greg.
No, I'm trying to recognize the character. Is what I meant.
No,
I
but-
misspoke.
Puppet. It's a puppet one.
It's a puppet one.
Don't put your fist in it, Greg. Take it easy.
But no, again, I think that for me,
Get the fuck out of here, Walter.
I can't wait. I'm really
Jesus.
okay.
Word on the street.
We'll get to that in a few minutes, but I'm not going to lie. Like, I've been hyping myself up all week for segment 3, just to have Walter Raccoon and Kyle Possum.
Nope.
That's the
you're
two
not.
things.
No.
You
don't like
anyways,
that.
I love them.
If I had opposable digits, I'd be making hard hands right now.
No, God, please, no.
And if you had a boner, it'd be erect.
No.
If a frog had wings, he wouldn't bump his ass when he hopped. So, Kai Kamara scores that header. That is literally my favorite memory in that stadium. Jesus Christ.
Gosh, Greg.
Because this is great radio. I'm sorry if I may interrupt. Currently, we have Walter the Raccoon masturbating inside his trash can.
Oh, gee. I didn't realize that was what was happening.
Oh gosh.
I'm gonna do that on Periscope. Somebody make a GIF out of that.
Don't do that on Periscope.
Okay. Anyways, though.
Okay,
go
I'll
ahead.
stop.
So for me, maybe that's the cliche thing to talk about with
It's a good
that.
choice.
But for somebody though too, there are really only for me as a sports fan, and all my years of watching baseball or soccer or anything like that, there are really only 3 things that have really stood out to me and my my life of like being memorable sports moments. One, we're going to talk European soccer for a second. Danny Welbeck's header in like the late early 90th minute against Leicester City, and I think we ended up winning that game. That was one of the most incredible things I've ever seen. Rajay Davis home run in Game 7 of the World Series. I almost cried. I actually did. I cried. I'm a huge Cleveland fan. Like, that was huge, and then we ended up losing as well. So that sucked. But and again, the Kai Kamara header to send us into the Eastern Conference Final. And again, that was my very first year of being a season ticket member holder. And so to have that magical kind of season and have that moment and be there in person to see it, there is nothing like that that I will ever experience, possibly ever again. Especially, that's not something that's like, hey, I'm watching it on TV. You're there in person to be able to see that. It was just mind blowing.
Logical follow up to that.
Yeah.
What does the crew mean to you?
Well, hold on. I have one more.
Right.
So my favorite, actually, I guess this would be considered off field memory. And you'll love this one. So this was a game. I think maybe the very first season that I actually started going to crew games. It was back when we had Emilio Renneria.
Yes. The Black Bowl.
I may or may not have had 1 or 2 drinks that game. I may or may have not screamed Mendoza at him because I didn't know that was not Andres Mendoza. That is a true story.
They look so much.
Well, here's the thing, though. It was like when they came over the corner and we had won,
Yeah.
and I just like, yeah, Mendoza, and he gave me the weirdest look of like, what?
I'm not Andres Mendoza.
You're not Andres Mendoza. You
I'm
don't
Emilio
sound Peruvian.
Renneria.
You're Emilio Renneria. You're
I'm Peruvian as well.
Yeah,
You can tell by the accent.
Yeah.
Delete your
So
account.
that's definitely one I figured you'd like that when I
love it. Tell me what the crew means to you.
Man, so this is a good question, and it's really weird too because I told you I make this segment like really short, but then you elongated it with like 30 minutes of your own. This is
my fault.
Whatever.
I blame Darby.
So I really think that, like, again, this is a very genuine answer. I think that the crew for me just means pride for the city of Columbus. That For Columbus campaign that the front office did back in for that MLS Cup run. That was something that, like, for me, really, it did it. Like, it put Crew SC on the map. Like, not even just in Columbus, but I think it was something that, like, you were able to take a look at something local and have pride in it. And so for me, and I know my fiance too, like we were really kind of into that. And so it allowed me to kind of take a look at the city of Columbus. And for somebody who has grown up here for, 28 and a half years, essentially, I'm 30 right now, but again, that year and a half that I lived out in Iowa, but I didn't really know until I came back from Iowa, like what the city of Columbus was like. And so the crew kind of started that, and it's really kind of opened my mind to supporting things that are local as well.
Yeah.
Not just soccer, but whether that's like restaurants or whether that's like clothing stores or whether whatever that is. And like I think that that's something that really kind of sparked my interest to like you can buy from the big chains that are making millions and millions of dollars, but why not help out the local guy who's like somebody who was born and raised here, has just as much love for the city as I do now. Yeah. And it's not something that's necessarily just like soccer, but it kind of really changed my attitude into just supporting everything and loving everything, basically Columbus. And maybe it seems like a cop-out answer, but like that's very true,
One of my friends I grew up with tweeted that the day before, the alleged MLS Cup in 2015.
Yeah.
She said, like, I don't really do soccer, but I do Columbus. And I'm #for Columbus today.
I'm not going to lie. Like, I know that, maybe some people would disagree with me on that, but I really think that that MLS Cup run really kind of changed the mood for people who are like Columbusites or Columbusans or Columbans or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah. Colombians. That's
Colombians. Peruvians or whatever. But no, like, I really think that, like, there was an episode a while ago, where it was like, I think actually it was last year, or not last year, maybe it was a while ago, but you talked about, like, you used to walk down the street and people would be like, oh, Columbus Crew, what's that? But now, like, you can walk down the street and people are like, oh, Crew SC, like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I saved $16 there, by the way. Did you hear that?
Nice shot.
But that's the thing, like, there's something that, like, the crew kind of brought about this, this visibility for themselves, but also for the city of Columbus. And you find people starting to invest more into Columbus. And I'm one of those people. And so I think that, that's definitely what the crew has meant for me. It's more than just soccer, but it's a way for me to invest not only in club, but also in city as well.
See, that's the answer I always... Darby, don't take a picture of that. Are you going to tweet that and say that I owe money to the front office? How dare you?
$48 a week you're racking up.
I can't believe you've done this.
That's terrible.
No, that's exactly the right answer. Anybody else who's been on this podcast is a shitlord and should delete their accounts, including Rhino Roberts, Sean Kelly, Shrek Mecca, and celebrity fan Mike Kuhn. It's spelled with a Kyoon.
I did not know that.
Kuhn. So, last question, obvious question. Then we're gonna. I have to piss so bad it's almost coming out of my fucking ear
terrible.
holes.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's gonna make
shut up.
It's gonna make an Uzi sound when it does at this rate.
I was just a child. How dare you? How can user AGS Attack be stopped?
This is actually really great. I'm not gonna lie. I've done something that you've never done for the show before. I actually show prepped and know what I'm gonna say beforehand. So this is my idea, and it's really just like it's kind of brilliant because it's just come from this year.
Yeah.
From this week. You stop AGS Attack by kidnapping him, stuffing him in a suitcase, and putting him on an Air Canada flight, literally anywhere in the world.
Oh, dude!
Wow.
Because he's gonna get lost along the way. I know. Yeah. Clap. No, I need some applause. I need an applause.
3, 2, 1. Clap over and over again.
Can't believe
you can talk about murdering him. You can talk about whatever you want. Put him on that Air Canada flight. You will never see him again, unless if somebody claims him and says he's mine. And nobody's going to do that because he has no friends. Right? And he said it himself. He has no love in his life. I'm not even sure if he has parents. I don't know where.
And by the time he actually gets sent back home, it turns out he's Pam's anyway.
Boom roasted.
That's pretty good, Greg. Nice of you to show up after 45 fucking episodes. Well, no, I'm not even pressing the button.
Oh, imagine that.
There it is. Fan-fucking-tastic. Brian Allan 87, also known as Brian Harris. You find him at Twitter at /ZZ Boots.
Except I'm not really on there anymore.
Yeah, he just
at least right now.
I
so.
sent him a picture.
We didn't talk about that. That's okay though.
He deleted.
We talked about literally
I
everything.
didn't delete
else.
my account. I'm just
Deleted
not on
all
there
your
right now.
accounts. If you've enjoyed the shitlordery and the account deletions in segment 2, I've got some great news for you. All 4 of us are coming back from segment 3, where we read your hot takes, and hopefully we will be less like 90% urine, because it's coming out of the pores of my body, Darby. How long can I make this out?
I forgot to mention something. Can I mention something real quick? I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
I am so sorry that I'm interrupting. I'm John Zadar in the outro right
That's
now.
fine.
I am so sorry. Okay, so because you brought up the urine, and I'm sure there's blood in there somewhere.
Correct.
I just want to say that
Kidney infection.
I guess I could have done this next segment too, but
Too late.
So there was an episode way back at the beginning. I just want to say the ACES radio has failed because there was back when we had the Twitter back when we had the Twitter hot takes. I won the Twitter hot takes thing one time, and I was promised a bag of blood and a bottle of urine, and I never received them. So I'm just letting you know.
The
I am
bottle
very
of urine
disappointed.
is forthcoming.
The bottle of urine is forthcoming.
It's
right now.
there. Please
if you want
stand by.
to, you just take your continuous champion from from ACES.
I got some great news for you, Brian Allan 87. You're going to get it directly from the fucking tap here in about 30 seconds. Stick around, everyone. We got your hot takes coming up. Brian Allan 87 might be coming back. Darby Schnarf is going to be about 5 pounds lighter because he's got a bunch of pee inside of him. It's episode 45, and you're listening to ACES Radio.
Hot, sicker than your average. Down like goose and I'm fly like Maverick. With a savage attack in a mouth like a mash. Spitting fuego, homie. It ain't tricking if it's magic illusions. Indubitably juvenile. My crew can do it and we do it well. Rock around the clock all across the nation. Got a lot of sky miles and a reputation of making earthquakes every time we land. Cause stopping ain't an option or a part of the plan. Fools get to feeling while I'm running on jet fuel. Now pay close attention cause I'm ready to let you know what I'm all about, child. I got that style that you come to love. And I'ma stay fly till the day I die. Spitting fresh to death from above. Get it, David F. Man. You don't stop. David. You don't stop. We came to rock it till the city takes off. Mr. Captain. Yeah. I'm an ace pilot. Yeah. I wanna spin my wings and fly. To all the people in coach. Yeah. And to my first class folks. Yeah. We'll show you how to scrape the sky.
Yeah, the Bailey, the Pride, and all you other shitlords listening on your iPhones in Cincinnati, Ohio. You've made a terrible decision to stick with us from segments 2 to segments 3.
Wait, hang on a second. So is that a coincidence that it's named the Bailey and your dog's name is Bailey, by the way?
I both invented supporter culture and ruin it at the same time.
Did you invent Cincinnati as well?
He birthed Cincinnati.
He birthed Cincinnati.
Who can be sure? Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to ACES Radio. It's episode 45. We are brought to
Cincinnati
you
chili. Yeah.
by Old North Arcade, by Land Grant Brewing Company.
/Hot Deals, right?
/Hot Deals. Welcome to all 9 of you on Periscope. I'll remind you, as always, that the more hearts you give, the closer you get to seeing the savage genitals of Brian Allan 87.
That's not true.
Welcome to the show, Walter the Raccoon.
Stop. Where's Kyle at?
Kyle's dead.
No, he's not. He's sitting right there.
I watched him die. He jumped into
Where's
a
the
trash can.
fake amputee artist?
He jumped into a dumpster at Caster
He needs
Connector.
sunglasses.
Yes,
Look,
Kyle does
now
need
it's
sunglasses.
everybody but Morgan.
Yeah.
How dare you? I bought those at the Banana Republic.
Oh, look at that.
Oh,
Such a
the
silver
sunglasses.
spooner. This sunglasses probably cost like $250.
Unbelievable. More
Easily.
than that. I'm just guessing. You know what?
Team Hollywood Rodents.
Brian Allan 87, what if I told you there was a cure for the scourge that is all of these goddamn animals, these stuffed animals? You know what? I'll say this before I get into it. The celebrity guests that were here watching ACES Radio on segments 1 and 2, they loved the stuffed animals.
They did.
They're wrong.
They wanted to know,
They're wrong to like
and
them.
the ducks too. But we told them that you didn't understand how they work, so
No,
we had to explain it
That's
for
probably
them.
why they didn't come to me. What if I told you there was a cure for the scourge that is the Sportman Farm?
What would that cure be, Morgan?
That's right, Greg. They say the only cure for the scourge that is Alex Thomas sending pieces of mail to my office is hot takes.
Nothing is impossible. Make your dreams come true.
And now, an ACES Radio exclusive, the battle for the grand prize. Hot takes from the masses.
You're not gonna stop there. We got the grand prize.
Hot takes from Twitter.
He's heating up.
Hot takes
He's on fire.
from you.
Yes, you can!
No, you can't, Walter.
Talk to my agent.
No, you cannot, indeed.
Okay, stop that for just a second.
Stop what? I don't know how to.
Stop that for just a second.
What's
Okay,
happening there?
confession time.
These fucking things won't stay on.
I told myself that if I ever got on here, and here's the thing, nobody here is going to believe this.
Okay.
But
I
I think
already
that
don't
I
believe
think
you.
the time has come.
Okay.
I am Uncle Sportman.
The fucking hell you are.
Yes, I am.
No, you aren't.
Yes, I am. You can log into to Reddit right now, and I'll give you the username and password, and it will work.
Wow.
Now see, here's the thing. I debated on giving this up, but I did that hot take last week, and I feel like they never gained traction, and I'm kind of out of ideas.
Uncle
so
Gary.
I feel like it's time to stop that account and move on to something else, and I haven't yet decided what that is.
Okay, but you're not the sportman that sends mail to the office.
This duck has hot written on the bottom of it. And the thing is, I thought about writing Josephi's mom is on top of that, so it said Josephi's mom is hot. I sent that. Now, here's the thing. I got you that recipe for the duck butter thing from offline. I also got that finger puppet book from the Half Price Books off of Lane Avenue out in Upper Arlington.
Wait, what about the painting?
The painting is
No,
not
that
mine.
was Concubine Mary.
That's not mine. But
Yeah, that was absolutely
I told myself that if I was ever the celebrity guest, that I would give that up. And truthfully,
Wow.
I feel like there was like a good time to do that, and like that time has kind of passed. But you kept thinking that it was Alex Thomas for the longest time, and I know that you still have Derek and everybody else, but like I feel
Shane
like that was
Felsen.
time for one. Like that was one for me to finally give up. But confession, I am Uncle Sportman.
Unfucking
And I only thought that was appropriate because you said something about Sportman Farms and Sportmans, and you said Alex Thomas. It is not Alex Thomas.
It's worth pointing out that's a hell of a way to break the record for the longest podcast episode that we've ever done.
Yes.
Real talk. And I'm not, it's not shocking to me that you're Uncle Sportman.
Yes, it
Liar.
is.
Brian
Yes,
Allen
it is.
87 is a rare treat. I feel badly that Alex Thomas and I, outside of Aces Radio, watching
It's
Ohio
the
State
perfect
games
cover
together.
up, man. It's great.
We've been on campus watching an Ohio State football game, and he'll be like, I'm not really a Gary Sportman. I'm like, okay, you piece of shit. We're not on the fucking air right
No.
now. You don't have to be a
It's
fucking
not him
trash
at all.
lad. That was a good.
I've never,
impression.
other than seeing him in the
not
Nordeca
bad.
and stuff, I've never had any interaction with Alex. It is not Alex. It is me.
He's a terrible person.
Literally, it's always the quiet ones.
Yeah, they
it's
do
the
say
ones
that.
that
It's
you
the
would least
ones,
expect. So,
yep.
I mean, so you're also a mass murderer, right? That's the only explanation here.
Well,
Shit. I have to go.
And that's Nick Rigsby, also a celebrity guest on segment 2, is all of the Dirty Slut Pam and Pamela Lynn Hughes.
Yes, he is.
He's
He
all of
confessed
those
that
accounts.
a couple weeks ago,
What a
yeah.
son of a bitch. Unfortunately.
yes.
Now, before we get into hot takes, I want to go ahead, if I could, and read the current standings. If that's all right with you, Darby. Don't care. In first place, Lord of the Shits with 14 points, followed closely in second, the new second place King, as they're calling him, or her. Hired Ballerina with 12, not spelled how you think it is, followed in third by Phil Goldfart with 11. Mabwani2 Bootylicious after that with 7 points. Underscore Ken jumping up to 5 points after a point from Steve Abreu last week. A tie for 6 between Pippa Nips, Hug Me Shaven Oregon, setting the table, and Alex Thomas, also on the board for the first time, all with 4 points. Buttle Surfer, Kruzmak, following with 3 points in 10th place, followed by, Jesus, there's so many more this week. Yvonne Siegel, The Crew Pat, Mike Hudson Sucks, AGS Attack, Pamela _Lynn _Hughes, Steve Abreu. I can tell this is going to be great.
Yeah.
And Darling Thief, all with 2. The Gaggle Fuck with 1 point is as follows. Bob O'Shaughnessy, Dave Edinger, Dirty _Slut _Pam, John Burkle, From User, Blank 91, Iscariot, DH Goat, and Newcomer of the Week, Aces Reflection. Bringing up the rear, Darby, and getting the bulk, GCG Bag, Tyler, with 1 point.
Awesome. Did you say AGS Attack and all that?
Yes. Ags Attack has 2 points.
I didn't remember.
Yeah,
saying
Greg
that.
has ruined it by giving him points. We move on now to the subreddit known as The Massive, which I remind you is always Brian Allen 87, is organized automatically by its level of fiery fucking hotness.
Morgan, did you
say that,
manage
but-
to post the hot takes thread this week?
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
I feel like that's
somebody
something
did.
You didn't
Somebody
post it?
with the last name of Hughes definitely posted the hot.
There's more than one
takes
person with
thread
the
this
last
week.
name. Bailey?
No. The hot takes thread this week comes to us from Pamela Lynn Hughes.
in which she said what? How did she intro?
Greg?
From user Pamela Lynn Hughes, quote, "Hi guys, my sweet baby is still snuggled in bed with Derek and Bailey. So I thought I would make the hot takes thread for him this week. I love you, my little organ."
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
I hate you. I hate you, Nick Rigsby. Moving the fuck on. Unfortunately, our top upvoted comment this week comes to us from none other than Token Liberal.
I hate that guy.
Who did not know he was going to be hosting when he posted this.
Yeah, John Zadar literally canceled at like 5.
Okay, I told Darby, though, too, because John has this great idea that for some reason I hate Darby.
You do hate Darby.
Yeah, that I do.
I learned that.
truthfully
A lot of
do.
people
He's a complete
I learned that
total
in episode
degenerate.
43.
Yeah, but apparently I said something about how he was, what was that, 2 episodes ago that he was on instead of John and that I missed John and I didn't like Darby as much as him. So apparently I hate Darby.
And deleted his account from Token Liberal with, oh my God, 12 points.
Holy crap.
Jesus, this better be fiery hunting. Quote, "Dear Andy Lambo, if you want to improve attendance, take a few lessons from Josephy's mom. Number 1, just blowing it every time is not going to keep people coming back. Number 2, some lads are harder to up than others. Number 3, hello.
Hello.
We have more celebrity guests here.
Wow.
Welcome to the program. I love that you guys interrupted Darby's hot take. That's great.
Yeah, you should always interrupt.
Welcome to the program, everyone.
Do we need more man on the street?
Darby, why don't you go ahead and pick up the microphone and do your man on the street
Way to interrupt
segment.
my story and then way to interrupt Darby's hot take.
Yeah, well, this is episode 45, and it's a trash failure. So go ahead and, Darby, introduce your guests. Tell us who they are. What we want to know is your first name and what brings you to this trash podcast.
Shannon Ward, and I love a good trash pocket.
Hello.
This is Leah. I'm not releasing my last name, but I love the trash pocket and the possum on the table.
Hold on one second.
Trash pocket.
They misheard trash podcast.
Wait until... Okay, so I don't want anybody to talk, and I'd like you to say that thing again. Go ahead.
What thing?
What you just said.
My name is Leah. I'm not releasing my last name, but I love the possum on the table.
And no, what did you say about the trash pocket? I love the trash pocket, and I'm
Trash
a big
pocket. That was me.
Oh, yeah. Somebody called it a trash pocket.
That was me.
That's great.
Oh.
Unbelievable. Don't confuse me. So what brings you guys to Zauber Brewing Company tonight?
The drinks.
Beer culture?
Oh, they have beer.
Beer
culture.
time.
Nice.
I didn't know Zauber was a brewing company.
So can I guess you were just walking to the bathroom and you saw a bunch of rough lads in the back room and you said, I want to get down on that.
Hey, true. I saw it and I said, hey, friend, we're going to go crash their broadcasting something. I don't know what it is, but it's
It's a great way of explaining ACES Radio. Yeah, absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
pretty much it as well.
Well, thank you for stopping by. This has been a rare treat. We enjoyed having you.
Have you ever been on a podcast before?
Absolutely not. But what exactly is the goal of all this?
And do you know who the Buffalo Bills are? So we talk about the Buffalo Bills.
With that crew jacket on?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's by Buffalo Bills, it means Columbus Crew.
Okay.
SC.
Yeah. Right. There are two franchises that are very closely tied together. So moving back to the subreddit known as The Massive, which I remind you to our 2 celebrity guests, it's organized automatically by their level of fiery fucking hotness.
Am I not a celebrity guest anymore?
Quote, Dear
No,
Andy,
you had moved on.
Dear Andy Lambo, if you want to improve attendance, take a few lessons from Josephy's mom. Number 1, just blowing it every time is not going to keep people coming back. Number 2, some lads are harder to up than others. Number 3, just because it's hump day doesn't mean it's hump day. And finally, number 4, you're not going to get more customers by inviting them to include their dog. End quote. Darby Schnarfus, your thoughts, my friend.
I believe you just literally read my thoughts. So, literally.
You actually read his hot take and then asked him for his take on his own hot
Right.
take.
That is the best hot take I've
Stephen
ever heard
Ray
in my
says-
fucking life. How's that?
And
Schnarfus.
is the dog's thing, is that a real thing?
Yes, that's a real thing.
Yes.
Pups
yeah,
at the
like
pups at the pen.
sometime
Pups.
in July, they're literally having a bring your dog to the crew
Yeah,
game.
it's against the Seattle Sounders FC.
Oh, that's
the
fantastic.
first team
Yeah,
in
I
MLS
can't-
history.
Yeah, I can't wait to be around a bunch of dogs that don't recognize me.
Moving the fuck on to user Hansy Lockney.
Wait.
Hang on.
I'm sorry.
I have to remind you something, Morgan.
What's that, Darby?
Read the replies to the hot take.
Response from Ember with 5 points. Quote, I'm just commenting, so Darby has to remind Morgan to read the comments. End quote.
Our studio audience has several questions.
Studio audience member number 1, your first question.
I would just like to know how you get the trophy, please.
That is...
Yeah, just play right into his hands, why don't you?
First of all, you got to be really good at predicting the outcome of soccer matches. You can go ahead.
Do you want to test me?
So the whoever wins the season-long battle of predicting scores wins a trophy from the owner of the team. The owner of our soccer team gave that trophy to me because I'm the number 1 handsy boy.
I have another question, please.
Back to you.
Is it soccer season?
It sure is.
Yes, it is.
Somebody should tell the crew about that. Oh, my God.
Boom roasted. I don't know how to come back from that, Morgan.
Well done.
Oh, my goodness.
Another question from the audience, please.
Yes, please.
There's
this
3
is
of them.
easily the most entertaining element of this entire thing.
Correct.
How do I get to drive the shopping cart?
The shopping cart is only piloted by Guillermo, who is a little tiny man who holds the blood sign within.
One more question.
Okay, back to you.
Is Guillermo strong enough for the shopping cart?
Guillermo is the strongest person in the history of our league.
I beg to
Not
differ.
Andres Mendoza?
Oh, well, I mean, he's the most talented.
She just questioned the Guillermo.
Is that right?
Yeah.
You do not question the Guillermo.
Can we have a strength contest, please?
Hey, you know what, though?
Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Moving the fuck on to user Hansy Locknane. Quote, hey Morgan, Hansy Lambo here. Heard you and Pam were looking to get married. And I just wanted to let you know that I could arrange to hold your ceremony here at Mafre. For a rough lad such as yourself, I figure it would be the perfect setting to be wed. We can let Derek Capo a few of our upcoming Huston Holligans in the Mini Nordak, making sure that all of the lads are upped prior to the ceremony. Frankie can, or possibly can't, depending on how much #beer culture he's had that day, officiate your wedding. And we can put a dance floor on the stage so everyone can do some coordinated jumping and get mental. Maybe even do a round of that Chris Doran limbo, proving someone is strong enough to... providing someone is strong enough to hold the ginormous limbo stick that is required for it. It's so big that even Timber Joey would be overwhelmed with what to do. But be sure... But be sure, we will always make your wedding one you'll never forget. Let me know what you think. I was also wondering if you had any tips for the team, as we'll be traveling to Toronto via Air Canada for the match on the 21st. We really want to avoid any baggage mishaps. Any insight you might provide is greatly appreciated. Sincerely, Hansy Locknane, end quote. Greg Benson, your thoughts?
I think this is all a fantastic idea. I was distracted by the studio audience taking pictures of the picture of Derek that's sitting on the table right
There's
now.
some Inception level stuff going on.
There is.
I just want to know.
So I took a picture of them taking a picture of the picture.
Oh, that makes 3 of them.
There are 3 of them.
Yeah.
Okay, so on a more serious note, as I think about this and a wedding for you, if you're only somebody who listens to ACES radio and you only know you're only you only know the people that are normally talked about on ACES radio. For your wedding party, you have to choose from John and Greg, Darby, Degenerate John, Shrek Mecca, Kyle Possum, Walter Raccoon, and Derek. I feel like that's a good time right there.
You son of a bitch.
Yes, question from the studio audience.
Who all's listening to this?
We get between 2,000 and 3,000 downloads per episode.
All of Periscope.
I mean, nobody right now because it's not live.
So in other words, this is listened to by at least twice as many people as were at the
We're
game
literally
last night.
live on the internet right now, streaming
So if we
through
steal
that.
a possum, we could keep it, or people would know.
Yes, you can please.
No, I don't think
No.
you should steal a possum.
No.
If they steal a possum, it's literally $10 on Amazon, and I will order you 30 more. I will get a gaggle fuck of possums to put on this table.
That's
Don't
actually
think
what I learned this in high school. It's actually what a group of possums is called.
Yeah.
It's called
Yeah,
a gaggle fuck.
Yeah, it's like a
Celebrity
flock of
fan
ducks.
number 2, your question, my friend.
How many people crash your guys' party?
We've had 4,
including
5, 6
the
today.
2 of you.
Yeah,
You
two
are
tonight.
You are the 6th.
No, we've had 6 tonight.
6 people tonight have done this. Well, I mean, it's just one episode.
That's a great turnout. We're late to the game.
Yeah, a lot of people are calling you guys casual fuckboys.
We gotta go.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Next week you should come at 7 o'clock because that's,
Moving
like
the fuck
time.
on from user Hey, free sandwich with 5 points.
Every week.
Quote, good.
The party.
Quote, good news, for one easy payment of $10, you can bring your rabid dog to a professional soccer game. Worried about how your dog would behave at your seats? Don't worry. For your convenience, everyone who brings their dog will be forced into one of 2 small sections of the stadium. And as you well know, dogs love spending time around loudspeakers, other strange dogs, and people they don't know. It's exactly a win-win for everyone. Brace yourselves for a sellout. $10 on top of the price you've already paid for your ticket. Season ticket member perks, hard at work for you, our beloved supporters. Ooh. End quote. Ooh. Pretty good. Brian Allen, 87, your thoughts?
I like dogs.
Do you like dogs at a soccer game?
I don't know.
Wonderful. Great to have you back.
Well, I don't see a big deal. If you want to bring a sweet angel baby to the game.
Moving the fuck on from user Lord of the Shits with 5 points. Quote, this hot take doubles as a response to Morgan's post asking for Nordeca banner ideas. I'd assume he needs help because John's recent amputee status, rendering him useless for hashtag Tifo Sweat. Can we do one of Josephi's mom, fully clothed, but we removed a piece of her clothing every time we win? Then we'll save the team from having to move to Miami. I drafted myself, but I have to go talk to a guy on the other line about some white walls. Keep up the great work, Morgan. These broadcast lessons are really paid off. Hashtag you suck. Thank you, celebrity fans. Wonderful.
Thank you for stopping by.
Go to acesradio.com and hear yourself tomorrow morning on this broadcast. What's that now? Oh, okay. That's good. Yeah. They eat food for sure. Love that. Moving the fuck on from user Hired Ballerina. Is that right? Hired Ballerina? I forget where I'm at.
Is that how it's spelled?
It's those podcast crashers were definitely not drunk.
No, not at all.
Definitely not.
Yeah. No. We're in 3, 2, 1. From Hired Ballerina. Jesus.
Is that spelled how it sounds?
It is.
I can't get that right
this
for the life of me.
This is the downside
Gosh,
of celebrity fame, right?
Like, you think it is.
It's not how...
Quote, Konnichiwa, shitlords. I just got back from Portland, Oregon, where after much hashtag beer culture, I devised the perfect plan. I broke into the front office at Providence Park and lifted the secret game day promotions manual. To help inspire our marketing team, here are the contents. First, hippie, hipster, or homeless night. Come dressed as your favorite Portland Denzian. Is that it? Denizen. Denzian? Salafia. And have everyone guess which one you are. Or better yet, try for the elusive trifecta. Hashtag Occupy Underpass. Next, brew your own kombucha? Kombucha night. I'm really bad.
Kombucha, yeah.
Brew your own kombucha night. New to this tasty beverage, do you think Scobie is the new guy at GCG Bank Tailgate? I'm missing like 100 jokes here. Well, you're wrong, and you should delete your account. Try the second best tasting thing you can make with yeast and water at this week's game. Next, craft beer night. No, shitlords, this is not what you think it is. In a town with many breweries as pretentious coffee shops, you need to come with something completely different. Each fan will receive 6 drink coupons for a sampling of their favorite microbrew. Macrobrew.
Way to read.
We are bringing kegs of Busch Light, Keystone Light, Milwaukee's Best Ice, and everyone's favorite, Schlitz. Hashtag feed us drinks, get us laid. My mid-hot take is Schlitz is the worst beer in the history of the world. Closely followed by Blatz.
I don't know, Milwaukee's Best.
What about Steel Reserve?
Well, congratulations. I thought you couldn't do anything worse than your pronunciations. Your hot take is worse.
Schlitz and Blatz, the worst ever. Next, if a Portland goal is scored in the first minute of play, we call this the Steve Clark Special. Oh, too soon, bro.
Savage.
All fans present will receive a buy one, get one free special at Vincent's Vegan Hut. Try the falafel. And finally, our final promotion for 2017 will be Columbus Crew SC Soccer Fan Night. Dress like your favorite Midwest fanatic with your OSU jersey. Complain about attendance, argue on the internet about your coach, and generally wish you supported a better team like ours in the Northwest. But do not get too desperate as to post to a subreddit for a podcast not even about soccer to get something called a blood point. There's no cure for that scourge. Hashtag Portland is Rip City. Hashtag, what the fuck does that even mean? Hashtag, at least it's not Seattle. End quote. It's pretty good. It's by Howard Ballerinas in second place. Darby Schnarvis, your thoughts?
That's good stuff. It was, even with the distractions from the drunken podcast guest, that was pretty fantastic.
I'm in favor of them.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Moving on from user Darling Thief with 3 points, quote, so I've noticed Zach Steffen has been stuffing a lot of shots lately. Not as often as Doran stuffing Pam, but it's pretty fucking comparable. End quote. Greg Benson, your thoughts?
Pretty fucking comparable in more ways than one, I'd say.
It's exactly how you spell it. Moving on. Oh, man, I got to go back to you on this next one, Greg. From user none other than Greg's ass. 3 points.
Except no substitutes, I guess.
Quote, looks like I better conjure up some magic to save the season if we want to win the cup. Hashtag 2 teams, 1 cup. End quote.
No.
Brian Allen, 87, your thoughts?
Hashtag magic poopies.
Roasted.
We were talking about this, that some of these have been like AGS Attack.
Yeah.
His was at home.
Mine was Magic Poopies on
too
tour.
At home.
That's right.
I had one too.
Yeah, so Brian Allen 87, new Magic Poopies home version. Yeah. Greg Benson.
Hashtag hot squirts.
Hashtag Magic
Magic Poopies on
hot
tour.
snakes, definitely.
Yeah. Moving on from user Mabwadi to Bootylicious.
Oh, welcome back.
The following fucking wall of text with 3 points. Quote,
longer than a Doran.
Last Saturday, the most anticipated 2 minutes of the year took place. And no, I am not talking about my meeting with Josephy's mom. That's only a minute and a half and happens weekly. I don't know how the Bailey comes back from that.
Probably out of your butthole.
Amen, brother. I'm referring to the Kentucky Derby. Seeing the sloppy, fucked up mess that it was reminded me of ACES radio. So fasten your jockey straps and hold on to your butts. Because here are your ACES-inspired horses. Mayor McChaz.
I don't care what the context is. Mayor McChaz is fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
You fucker.
Just stop right there.
Oh my God.
This full-grown horse still has colt feet. It missed the last race due to travel issues, so its owner just posted YouTube videos of it performing basketball trick shots in the stable. Oh, God. Gregulator 614. This host performs well most of the year.
Horse.
What?
This horse.
What did I say?
You said host.
No, that's clearly not true. This horse performs well most of the year, but has one race that it particularly despises.
Well done. Well done.
Instead of a jockey, he is led by a rabies-infested raccoon.
Wonderful.
Wet boy. This horse rarely races and comes out of the gate late when it does show. It's okay, though, because it replaces... What? It's okay, though, because... Its replacements are usually better.
Yes.
I'm fucking terrible, and Darby Schnarvis, delete your account.
Yep. I am so upped right now.
Dirty slut. This horse pretty much sucks at everything, which is why it rarely shows its face. Oh, my God. Has trouble keeping jockeys, as they often inquire...
Inquire?
It's one of those fucking nights.
Hey, how was that barrel-aged vertigo?
Oh, my God.
Delicious and intoxicating, Greg, and filled to the brim. As they often
Morgan's hair is about to
injure
change.
themselves, tripping over her horse shoes she leaves lying around the stall. Probably the same reason she can't find a permanent mate. AGS Attack always lasts, period. Roasted. Rest stop hottie. This horse is basically just used for breeding purposes. And boy, is it good. Oh, too real for me. Internationally known, this silver stallion is the only one that actually takes shit seriously and has a legitimate chance of amounting to something. Oh, yes. And it has an enormous cock. End quote.
Oh my gosh!
Should you just stop reading now?
Who was that from?
That's hired ballerina.
That was
Mabwadi.
No, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Response
my
from
gosh.
hired ballerina. Response from hired ballerina. Even though we are competing in a fake internet competition, I have to admit, bravo.
Yeah.
Jarvis Schnarvis, your thoughts?
Initially, when I saw this one, I was like, "Forget it. It's too fucking long. It's not getting points." but it's quality top to bottom.
Hey, so Mabwadi 2 Bootylicious, if you put like 4 spaces at the end of every period and then you hit return, it'll have a line break. And it won't just be a wall of text.
Right. And that's the excuse you're going to use for why you fucked it up
very hard to read
17 times.
No, it's just hard to read, period. Skipped a lot of school.
Oh, my gosh.
Moving the fuck on from user Fishbert with 2 points. This person's not getting blood points tonight because they quoted Pamela Lynn Hughes, I love my tiny organ, or I love my little organ. Chin up, Morgan, after Doran dilation. Even average-size organs will feel little. End quote.
Yep.
Greg Benson, your thoughts?
And the perception of what is perfectly formed will be seriously distorted as well.
That's very true. Moving on from user Ralph Schrudel11 with 2 points, quote, hello, Mr. Hughes. This is Air Canada customer service. We apologize for the late phone call, but you appear to have left a customized Toronto FC jersey on your flight home to Columbus. It reads the number 1 and Hansy Boy. We heard this may be a good place to get in contact with you. Hashtag for Columbus. Hashtag for Air Canada, end quote. It's pretty good. Brian Allen, 87, your thoughts?
This has nothing to do with the hot take, but I'm just wondering. Okay. So, Derek is your stepson, right? So, who is the mom? Did we ever discuss that? I've never heard that.
Hello, darkness, my old
Oh,
friend.
that's a really good question that nobody's ever brought
Is it
up.
prenatal
Who
ogre?
is Derek Hughes' mother?
I think it's prenatal ogre, right?
There you go, old South Park reference.
Yes.
Not everybody's
Yeah.
going to get that one. They might be.
Morgan is both the father and the mother.
Oh, okay.
Moving the fuck on.
What?
Science.
I was watching that episode.
Spoilers.
Half man, half bear, half pig. From user Zip6 with 2 points. Oh, Jesus. This is all
I warned you about this
in
one.
Spanish, isn't it?
I'm so excited.
I did warn you.
Okay, all right. Okay, quote. Hola, Joe Dude. Soy Steve Abreu, un amigo de Guillermo de Boston, Massachusetts. Tengo un mapache grande. ¿Es posible o imposible que usted tenga de regresar a Columbus, Crew? Nosotros,
Trust the immigrant to tell you.
Nosotros estamos fucking terrible. Ahora mismo y necesitamos su ayuda. Y Clark Beacom mata a Crewcat. Ayuda, Greg Berhalter. No tiene ningún idea de cómo... Oh, God. Un equipo de fútbol. Mi interés... Oh, God, Jesus, this is terrible. Nadie sabe dónde está Deliduca. Juan Zidar está comiendo de bolsas de Cheetos. Joe Dude, you're our only hope. Hashtag
Libertad por Cacutamane.
Cacutamane.
Which means free Cacutamane.
Yeah.
Checking Wikipedia.
I mean, you
Wikipedia
actually
for
did better with that than you do the
That's
English
true.
hot takes.
I was
by a
I'm,
damn sight.
I'm not even mad at it.
My dad is from Puerto Rico. He speaks half Spanish, half English. But he thinks
And
it's all
half
Spanish.
Pig.
And he should delete his account. Jarby Schnarvis, your thoughts?
Seriously, that's amazing. Like, you are much more fluent in the Spanish hot takes than the English because you butchered that. I mean, you still butchered it, but you butchered it a lot
Well,
less.
I kind of speak Spanish. La lucha libre con tomar mi cama todas las noches.
I missed that.
Is that how you speak to your servants?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, they're all from Spain.
The the Spanish pronunciation of Morgan's last name is the only time he's ever been called Huge.
I missed that hot take. Could you read that again?
I cannot. Moving on. Okay. ACES Reflection. So we got to do this. All right. From user ACES Reflection with 1 point. Quote, the downfall of this podcast can be illustrated in how Greg used to give blood points out to good writing, and now he just bases it on usernames. Why? End quote. Greg Benson, your thoughts?
I just like making you read names that are awkward for you.
Smoke weed every day.
Moving on from user Zappalicious with 1 point. Quote, did anyone else see the new coach roaming the sidelines last night? He claimed his name was Breg Gerghalter. And he looked strikingly like 3G, though Breg was wearing some thick glasses, what looked like a taped-on mustache, and poor imitation of a wig, and a red pullover top a patterned button-down. We all know Greg owns neither anything red nor any button-down that isn't blue or white. Unfortunately for Breg, the entire game got out of hand after the 80th minute, and much more importantly to all celebrity fans, the stands were lost. Yes, Horgan Muse, Zon Jadar, and Breg Gensen. and all the other Crewniverse lit shores. Could only
threw me slightly.
Could only gawk as a Giovinco-less TFC ran rampant in the final 10 minutes of play. As much as I hate to say it, but Crewzz is winless in the Gerg-Halter era. Hashtag, here we go. Hashtag Gerg-Halter out. Hashtag definitely not Greg. Hashtag Horgan pronunciations. Hashtag random overused Doran cock joke to save the hot take.
The Hataki.
End quote. Brian Allen, 87, your thoughts.
So it's Gergbergherger, Gergerbergerherger, and what now?
Gergbergherger.
Gergbergherger. Man, I don't understand. I don't understand that.
The next fill-in coach for Crewzz would just be.
It was weird, incidentally, that Josh dressed like Greg. It's like,
except he wore jeans.
I wasn't looking that closely at his ass. I'm sorry. So
what of it?
All I know is I saw some tight ass shit with a really form fitting sweater over the top. So
he is a turncoat DC United communist fuckboy, and that's all I have to say about that.
So how about I come over there and go to town on your money and on your ass?
Moving on from user the real Chris Doran with 1 point. Quote:
Speaking of random overused Chris Doran cock jokes,
please stop talking about my 12-inch penis. It's more like 14 inches and 18 on match days. End quote.
Right. Can you also read the reply to this one?
From user converts to metric with 3 points and now 4. Mouse over or click to view the metric conversion for this comment. Yeah, I'm going to do that. 14 inches equals 35.6 centimeters. Post feedback in R to metric. End quote.
I love that has 3
That's an
points.
automatic thing, isn't it?
Yes, it's a bot.
That's fucking incredible.
That's even better.
Can we give 2 automatic blood points to converts to metric? Done. Done.
Can you convert that from blood points to centimeters?
Delete your account. Moving on from user Hookman IA.
Hookmania?
Hookmania? Except IA is capitalized. It might be Iowa.
Hooked on phonics.
Hookman, Iowa.
Actually, the I is lowercase. The A.
Only the A.
No, I think the I is too. I'm looking from
Except
all the
it's
way over
not.
here, and I can see things. I can read.
Definitely the I is not capitalized.
With 1 point, quote, cue X-Files drop. All right. Wait for X-Files drop to start after Morgan pushes the wrong button. And ain't nobody got time for that. Drop plays. So Morgan spends a gratuitous amount of time in Toronto the week before our beloved Crewzers drop a heartbreaker to TFC. Anybody else find it odd? What if the lost baggage was just a front for more sinister shenanigans? What if Morgan found himself at checking fax machine for the home of TFC, BMO Field, and just happened to run into Josie Altidore? Would it be possible that he let slip the game plan of bringing Adam John in and going all Jay Cutler don't care long ball for the last 20 minutes of the game?
No Jay Cutler references, please.
Still that was for you, Greg.
Still
now,
too soon.
I know his defense is going to be I'm more of a basketball guy anyways, but let me share this bit of information. The Toronto Basketball Raptors were swept out of the NBA playoffs by one LeBron James, who you might know famously plays for the Cleveland Cavaliers, who happen to reside in Cleveland, which is in fact in Ohio. The same one as Morgan Hughes. Can't hide from those facts. Morgan went to Toronto, sabotaged both the Crew and the Raptors. Case closed. You've disappointed Gangster Crew, baby. May Crew Cat have mercy on your soul. End quote. Brian Allen, 87, your thoughts?
It only took you 3 hours to mention Gangster Crew, baby. I like that.
He's got nothing but love for you. Darby Schnarf is your thoughts?
Yeah, no, like, absent that hot take, you would have gone the entire episode without referencing Gangster Crew, baby.
This is true.
Yep. I mean, I don't talk about him every game. Got to stay real to the streets, Craig. I feel you.
That's the word on the street.
Also, can I say, I haven't heard GCG Bag Tyler drop tonight.
Yeah. Haven't you?
Yeah.
No. You probably
played it. There was one.
Nope, that's not it.
Nope, that's not
It's right next to it, though.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there we go.
Yes!
John Zadar has coughed into the microphone.
I'm coughing away from the microphone.
Jesus Christ.
Fucking hell.
We have blood points to give away, as that is the last hot take of the night. Greg Benson.
Yes.
I go to you first. You have 2 blood points to give away.
I do.
And they go to the following users.
They go to Mabwadi2 Bootylicious for the Kentucky Derby lineup, which, fan-fucking-tastic. And, this is tough. Hired Ballerina.
It's pretty good. Brian Allen 87, as the celebrity guest of the week, you have what? Say 2 points to give away.
Okay. Definitely Mabwadi2 Bootylicious. I almost threw up over here laughing so hard, so that was good. I'm also going to give one to Hansy Locknane, just because I like that name a lot. I just want to hear you continually say it. So
you're a son of a bitch. Darby Schnavers, you are in place of the wetness. The wet boy. Absentee, amateur...
wetness.
Wetness. All those things. John Sadar, you have 1 point to give away. Your point, my friend, goes to who?
Oh, I only have 1 point? Shit.
How many do you want to give away?
John, why don't you fucking pick better so I get more points to give away whenever you're not
How many do you
here
want to
most
give
of the
away?
time? I mean, I want to give away 2.
Go ahead.
Okay. 1 point goes to Mabwadi2 Bootylicious. I apologize for wrongly associating his hot take or her hot take with Hired Ballerina.
Sure.
And the second blood point goes to the metric converter. Because in all seriousness, that was fucking fantastic, and I loved it.
That's what you wanted the extra blood point
That's
for.
what I wanted the extra blood.
It was to give
Yes.
a blood point to something that had already been automatically given 2 blood
And
points.
actually, my goal at this point is for people to use to give hot takes with is it empirical measurement? What the fuck do we call our measurement? American.
Yeah.
To give American measurements.
That's what we call them.
And then have the metric pop up every week and to keep getting upvotes.
By the way, we just had a person on Periscope say hello from South Africa. So to you, sir, I say welcome to the greatest team the world has ever seen, the Buffalo Bills of the American Football Conference. Yeah. All right, who's your second blood point going to? The metric conversion bot?
The metric conversion bot.
Converts to
Fantastic.
metric.
Yeah, that thing.
My first blood point of 3 goes to none other than Greg's ass. Because that's really funny. I like that.
Yeah.
I would have. I mean, you could have called that username anything. I would have given him a point.
I don't want you giving anything to my ass.
Wait, would you prefer that you got blood points for your ass or urine points for your ass?
Stay away from the Frenchman at the McDonald's drive-thru because you're about to get a surprise, my friend. My second blood point goes to the real Chris Doran.
Yeah.
For correcting us and really like starting the whole trend of the metric conversion bot in the subreddit known as Massive, which I remind you is always organized by ZZ Boots, Wildman's Leather and Lace.
35 centimeters does sound pretty fucking impressive.
I don't know how math works, but it sounds like I don't want that inside of me.
I mean, yeah.
Back to you, Pam.
I do. I like the metric because, I think I have like then 2.5 centimeters or something.
That sounds like enough.
Yeah.
I mean, you might not reach the bottom, but you'll scrape the shit out of the sides. My third and final blood point goes to...
You sound like a can of tuna.
It's called a chode.
It's only this big, but it's this fucking big around.
That's right. Yep. You may not remember me, but you're going to want to forget me. My third and final blood point goes to, hey, free sandwich. That was a pretty good hot take. Your thoughts, Greg Benson?
Yeah, I liked it. It was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
Also,
good time.
You have no idea what the hot take was, do you?
No. I mean, I could scroll back up, and I suppose.
He was like $10 to bring your dog to the game.
Oh, yes.
That was
Yes.
pretty funny. And this has been another edition of the battle for, I don't know, a doll.
A battle for a trophy. It's definitely from Anthony Precourt.
That's right. It's a very long outro, John.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, baby. No, you can't, Walter.
Yeah, I can. There was no Walter during the hot takes. What the heck was up with that? Nothing.
Walter, they're ruining your thoughts.
I'm disappointed.
Pressure. Walter's not much of an improv guy, I think.
Not really.
No.
He's not.
Just saying.
Is
that a duck?
That's raccoon for delete your account.
That's hot.
Moving on to the score predictions, we have 2 games to go over here. The first one being New England Revolution at Columbus Crewzers FC. Greg Benson, the Hollywood Racist. You said the most likely outcome of that game was a 2-1 victory. That was very far from being true. It was actually a 2-0 victory.
So far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not on the right screen.
Well done.
Yeah, a lot of people were actually saying that was quite close.
You get 5 points. May God have mercy on your soul.
I don't believe in God, Morgan. You know this.
Love that joke. Love to have you back. You're doing great. John Zadar, the wet boy, a.k.a. Darby Schnarvis.
Yes.
You said the most likely outcome was also a 2-1 victory.
I am so smart.
Also very far from being true. It was actually a 2-0 victory. You do get 5 points, and may Gord have mercy.
I love Gord. I worship Gord.
The continuing champion, Morgan Hughes. You said the most
May
likely
the lead singer of the Tragically Hip have mercy on your soul.
outcome was
Wow,
a
Canadian jokes. Well done.
1-1 tie. That was very, very close to being true. It almost happened. Everyone says that was the game that should have happened. You get no points. May God have mercy on your soul. Where's that? Yep. There it is. It's a fart noise. It says fart. The button says fart. Moving on. TFC game. Greg Benson, the Hollywood Racist. You said the most likely outcome was a 2-2 victory. My sweet Guillermo.
I'm sorry. A 2-2 victory?
That's right.
Okay.
That's America wins.
That's how it works. Okay.
3-2-1. You said the most likely outcome was a 2-2 tie. It was actually a 1-2 loss. You get no points. May God have mercy on your soul.
Believe in this, Morgan? God, no. I don't.
We're all atheists here. It's very funny. Everyone's loving that.
I just said the same thing,
Wait.
just rearranged the words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Funny.
I mean,
Well, I'm now Brian Allan 87. Whatever. He's a guest of the week. John Zadar, the fake wetness.
Yeah. I mean, that does sum it up.
You said that Columbus Crew
Not
SC...
quite Uzi level. Yeah.
Wait for it. You said that they would win 4-2.
What?
I'm sorry, 4-2. Jesus. You said we would win 2-1. That's not even close.
No.
It was actually a 1-2 loss.
That's the opposite. Wait, what happens in that context?
You get negative 15 points. And may God have mercy on your soul.
It's a good thing I asked for bonus blood points because he isn't getting shit next week.
Seriously, tune in to like 5 seconds from now for the standings, but John has like negative 30 points just from 2 games, and he's still in the plus. It's unbelievable. Continuing champion Morgan Hughes, aka number 1 handsy boy. Okay, the guy smells great. Like he's really good with old people. He can take care of your kids and your dog. Like you should sleep with him. Is that Oliver said that? You said it was a 0-1 loss. That's what's going to happen. You were very right. It was a 1-2 loss. You get 5 points. God mercy, soul, Jesus Christ. Moving on to the standings in 3rd place. The wetness. John Zadar. You're very fucking bad.
I mean, clearly, I'm the kind of guy who, rather than picking games well, will go up to Cleveland.
How many points is he on?
5.
Oh, he's on 5.
He still has plus points.
Barely.
Unbelievable.
Barely.
Yeah, he has 30 negative points from 2 fucking games.
Did you say plus points or plus points?
Plus points.
Oh.
Yeah.
He has 5
He has an
plus
infection.
points. Yes.
There's an
He needs to
abscess
let
in
the
his neck.
PFGs out more often.
Blood and urine are on the fax machine right now, wondering if we
just wondering
if we've
New
overstepped
sponsor
out.
this week.
In 2nd place, the Hollywood Racist. The worst guy at the table. Greg Benson.
Always
20 points.
Even when I'm not at a table.
Very far off the pace. In 1st place. The continuing champion, the number 1 handsy boy, the best guy at the table right now. The guy who was like probably best friends. He could be best friends with your mom. Like you should date him. Like your parents would get along with him for sure.
He will
long as
never
they're
marry
over
you,
50.
though.
Morgan Hughes.
Yeah, Brian Allan 87. Woo!
Don't encourage him.
I hate you, Darby.
I love you.
Mortal enemies, those two. I can just play this drop like 100 times. You want to keep dancing? Walter, stop dancing. Unfucking believable.
Would you rather that he were jacking off again?
I'm disappointed in myself because I again forgot to download Alex Thomas's weather report.
Do you want to do it right now? That worked out really well last time.
Did you remember to hit record?
I did. We are recording.
Then you're fine.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got to move on to Crew versus Montreal Impact. It's a road game. It's happening on Saturday. Let me open my mail app.
Why's it got to be mail?
Go fuck yourself. Here we go. Weather report in 3, 2, 1.
Clap.
There it is. Can you hear that? It's not Air Canada.
Game day forecast, week 8. Columbus Crew SC travel to Montreal, Quebec to take on the Impact this Saturday at 5 p.m. Temperature at kick should be in the mid-50s with a 60% chance of showers. Meanwhile, here in Columbus, it'll be a beautiful night to go catch the game on a patio. Temperatures in the mid-70s and partly sunny.
Everyone hates him.
Alex Thomas has left the game.
That's right. Greg Benson, we got a game
Yeah.
coming up against the Montreal Impact.
Yeah.
On Saturday. I want to go to you first, and I want to know what you're watching for, my friend.
Will the real crew, Shady, please stand up? And will Kyle please fall over?
What did you do?
I think Kyle died.
Yeah.
No,
well,
Kyle does not die. Despite Morgan's
back to you.
Anyway, back to me. This is an opportunity for Crew SC to take advantage of a team that's not playing great. It's kind of like a New England situation where you've got to take advantage of, it's an old cliche, but you've got to beat the teams you're supposed to beat if you have any postseason aspirations. So regardless of the fact they don't particularly play well up there,
certainly not
historically, that long history that they have. I still think that this is one of those games that you should feel like you could come away with this with at least a point if you're a playoff team.
Yep.
Or if you're going to be a playoff team, regardless of who's in or out. I think this is one where they got to step up.
Absolutely. Brian Allan 87, the wet boy, as they're calling you. A lot of people are saying you're the absentee amateur artist. I think those nicknames are unused.
Yeah.
What are you looking for this weekend, my friend?
I'm looking for Domaduro to eat a lot of Papa John's pizza and some crazy hair. No,
I think it's Papa John's.
Papa John's.
Pepe
John's. No, I think that
I'm
Peruvian. I agree with Greg in that I think that Montreal, kind of like Philadelphia, but not as bad. They're not off to a great start this season. When I look at their roster of people, I think Ignacio Piatti is really the one person that kind of stands out as being somebody who I think is capable of truthfully really putting any kind of damage, I think, on the Crew. But I think it's going to be interesting to see, too, how they bounce back. We had a little bit of change up, too, I think. When we look at this last week's game against Toronto, how defensively we kind of got slowed down a little bit there towards the end. But you also kind of saw a change in the back line. You're starting to see Waylon Francis kind of get back in the groove of things, too. Which,
thank God.
Which is weird, too, because, I know that we always joked about, why does Greg Berhalter hate Waylon Francis?
Yeah.
But I kind of am starting to wonder if he's starting to see that maybe he made the wrong decision in benching him a lot, too. So I'm hoping that he'll kind of be back in the mix. And truthfully,
Greg did say in practice this week that Waylon and Raitala are fighting for the starting spot.
No, and I think you give that to Waylon, especially from the defensive side too. I think that you can put Josh Williams in the mix in there as well. I mean, he really did play great last week. I think that I thought he did until they took him out. I thought he did all right, but I really truthfully think that it's just going to be about how they respond on the road. But I mean, I think attacking we've still got a lot of talent going forward, and so it's just going to be about how we break them down. But as far as key people, I think within their lineup that can really do damage, I think is kind of limited this time around. So
yeah, absolutely.
They don't have Didier Drogba anymore, so I don't know.
Amen. Darby Schnarfus.
Yeah, I do think so. That's maybe one position where that whole competition, bringing out the best, has actually worked. Because Waylon Francis was hot garbage in 2016 when he played, and that appears that maybe it lit a fire under his ass, and he's really playing for a spot this year. If we had gotten more points out of the homestand, I would assume that this game would be a B squad.
Yeah.
But I think, given the way we performed, you have to see an A squad in this game that's playing for 3 points.
Wouldn't you hope so?
I'm going to pull a Sedley and say that 1 point is not acceptable out of Montreal. You've got to win this next game. You've got to salvage something. You've got to break the garbage trend that's happening. So I really expect them to play for a win.
Speaking of Scott Sedley, you expect Kutamane because it just broke, when we started recording that Ethan Finley is listed as questionable with
Ethan Finley's questionable.
Yeast infection.
Kutamane is, I think he's probably at least a 60-minute starter this week.
If we don't see him this week, he's officially dead.
If we don't see him this week, I don't even know what to think.
You may as well jump in a dumpster to Caster Connection.
I think we essentially flushed a trade down the toilet if we don't see him this week.
Well, again, was that pickup necessarily something that we had intended on using him at any point, or was that just because
that's a great point?
I
don't think so.
He had some interest from like European clubs,
and we're not going to use Tony Chani anyway, right? Apparently,
but why not?
And even if it's expiring TAMGAM, we still gave up a lot of money for him.
Yeah.
And he's in a contract year, so if he doesn't play, that hurts him, it hurts the team, it hurts everybody.
And he's
got to get his ass on the field.
And he's not a Jack McInerney. He's better than that.
Yeah.
It's not a guy that you bring and you're like, well, okay, maybe he's like a garbage time sub. If we're down 2 goals, we can bring him in the 85th and maybe fucking catch a lightning in the bottle.
Well, and I honestly feel like, one of those things that you guys talked about in the prior episodes was that Greg had talked about how, he wasn't necessarily like in shape. He wasn't doing really well, but like I feel like if you give him that opportunity to play a little bit more than what he's played, like is that not the same thing going to light a fire underneath your butt to play a little bit harder and push yourself a little bit more? Because obviously somebody's going to do that in a game that matters, as opposed to maybe like during practice and in training. Like how out of shape necessarily could he be? He's he's not Connor Casey.
That was
he's
code for I'm not happy with him.
Like Zadar said it last week, and it was like my favorite quote of the week. He was like, "At what point is this guy just like a superhuman that we can't keep? Like he's been fucking getting in shape for so long that he's like."
And they're all professional athletes.
Yeah,
they can play fucking 60 minutes. If you're saying he's not match fit, you're saying he's been sitting on the couch for 2 years eating Doritos.
Amen. Now, this is Montreal's 4th home game of the year. They're 1-1-1. They're coming off of a win on the road at DC, and before that, they lost 2-1 at home to Vancouver. So, but this is still a bottom. This is a mid to low table talent team. To use an Orlando City term. This is. I agree with what you said, Greg. I agree with what you said, Brian Allen 87. Never have agreed with Darby.
Fuck that guy.
This is an opportunity for Crewzers FC to come off of a homestand where fucking everything went wrong. I don't even care that we got 3 points at this point. Merrim said it in post-game comments last week. We got to get our road boots on and we'll see what we're made of. I totally and completely agree. This is your first opportunity. This is a turning point, and MLS works this way because every game is important, and any point in the season could be a season-defining moment. We have an opportunity to go on the road after 2 of 3 very disappointing moments at home and say, that's not good enough for us.
Okay, but so because it's a road game, does it make it different than, you're have that possibility of winning against a slightly crappy Montreal team, just like the same like we won against a slightly crappy New England Revolution team.
If we're going to Toronto, I wouldn't say this.
Okay, but is it just different than is it that big a deal just because it's on the road? Then
It's that big of a deal because it's on the road against Montreal.
Okay,
and if it were on the road against Orlando or TFC, I'd probably be seeing in another tune, man. But we're going to Montreal, a garbage team that we can take points from.
Yeah.
Because, hell, we've watched teams win on the road 2 out of the last 3 fucking weeks live and in person. We got to win this game. It's a must. It's a must.
Let's be the road team.
Yeah.
Why not? Let's, we're not pulling it off at home, so fuck it. Let's be the road team. Let's be that team that can go out and spoil other teams. Yeah. I mean, granted, there's not a lot to spoil, but Montreal's got a 1-game winning streak. Let's end that.
Yep.
Why not?
Hey, we want to be kings of the East. We got to beat the trash, even if it's on the road. Greg Benson.
Yes, sir.
Hollywood racist. If you're at Hendocks Pub, I mean, you're
at Hendocks Pub.
Yeah, you made a tragic mistake. Your score prediction for the game against Montreal on Saturday, my friend.
As far as I'm aware, Crew SC's only drawn 1 game this year, and I've predicted far more than that.
Yep.
And I'm going to do it again. It's going to be 1-1 because I feel like, I as I said, with all of the talk about they should, there's still that nagging thing in my head that says nah.
Yeah. All right. 1-1?
Yeah.
1-1, bro. Brian Allen 87.
Yeah. All the scores.
Man, I'm going to go with it. I'm going to go 2-1 victory for Crew. I mean, again, I know it's going to be difficult because we're on the road and we don't necessarily have the greatest track record at Montreal. But again, they're not really doing that great this season. But at the same time, I would want to go 2-0. But just given that we gave up a very late goal and a couple goals like this last week, especially. I just feel like we could have that thing where cool, we're going to walk away with a 2-0 victory and we're still going to end up giving up one because, we're Crew SC, so why not?
Fan-fucking-tastic. Darby Schnarfus, the fake wetness. 40-year-old man-child.
Right.
Go ahead.
So, Greg's basically taking the approach this season of, I'm going to pick draws just so that I don't lose points. But given that John has an amazing trend of losing points and losing points in a big way, I feel like I have to honor that and walk in his footsteps.
Yep.
So, I'm going to call for a 1-0 Crew victory.
So when Montreal wins 1-0...
He's going to lose 15 more points, and fuck that guy.
Fan-fucking-tastic. Wonderful. I will again say a tie. 2-2, I think, is the most likely outcome. I really want to say victory. Like, I really want to say it because I want to believe that the guys on the roster and Greg Berhalter and Josh Wolf and Dan Lally and professional eyeglass model Tom Bowden, hashtag rest in peace, Tom, they're people that care about their jobs, they care about the team, and they know that this is a moment where the season can go one of two ways. And I want to believe with all my heart that they're going to come out with like a werewolf with a chainsaw for a penis and just roll over people and be like, not in my conference, fuck you.
But
that being said, 1-1 tie. What did I say? 2-2. 2-2 tie.
2-2.
Yeah.
I mean, you know Dilly Duca is going to score, right? That's how it works. You have to score against your former
I'm pretty
team,
sure it'll be a Dilly Duca hat trick.
I think he pretty much only does that against us.
Self-roasted.
Christ. Anything else? Any other score predictions, hot takes?
Where are we at here time-wise, Morgan?
We are at...
A lot. It's a lot.
2 hours. I think we're at 2 hours and 49 minutes.
Oh, my God.
So this is officially the longest episode in history.
Yeah.
Nice.
We need to talk about shit for 11 minutes.
Yeah.
Do we want to do that? Do we want to go over 3 hours?
Hang on. How many? Okay, first of all, because we have understood that you cannot math at all.
Yeah.
How many minutes are we at?
2 hours and 49 minutes.
How many minutes is that?
How many total?
Yeah.
49 minutes plus 2 hours. Now, we got to get out of here because it's 10 o'clock and Zabra
they're
closes in
going to
like,
kick us out.
20 minutes.
I'm
surprised Jeff hasn't been back here yet.
Yeah. What's
25% tip?
Fake John Zidar, what's GCG bag got going on?
They're going to be drinking.
Yeah?
They're
are they
going
going?
to be
What
drinking
bar?
toilet wine from the prison.
The Hooch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fan-fucking-tastic.
I thought too many people died last week, so I didn't think they were doing anything. But
that was awesome.
Damn, that was close, dude. That was really close.
I was wondering where the random histrionics from Darby came from, and I'm like,
for half a millisecond, I was like, Jesus, Darby, it's not that funny. And then I realized what you were doing.
No, I know.
Greg Benson, you doing stand-up anywhere?
Yes. Only if GCG Bag Tyler promises to be in the front row.
I knew it was coming. Thanks for joining us for episode 45 of ACES Radio. Special thanks to all 6 of the celebrity fans who showed up. See you at the next crew game. Darby Schnarfus, thanks for stopping by and filling in for the wetness. Brian Allan 87, you'll find him on Twitter. BrianAllan87.com/hot deals. That's his entire username. On behalf of all benevolent corporate overlord sponsors, Blood, Urine, Spit, Saladia, Larry Turd, Foot Golf, Clark Beacom, Andy Locknane, Tom Bowden,
Hansy Locknane,
and the Dead Running Cops Corpse.
Also the Dead Running Cops.
Of Kevin Burns. It's ACES Radio.
Morgan with the fuck the police.
And all Lord Guillermo's people. Oh, now we have to do it all over again. Jesus
No.
Christ.
Wait, how far can we stretch this out?
That's your 11 minutes right there.
We went like probably 12 episodes straight of not fucking up the outro, and I think we've done it 3 in a row now.
That's true.
That's really good. I blame you, Darby.
Yeah, well, thank you.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm happy to be a part of ruining your day.
Oh, unfortunately, we don't have time for you.
Don't we? Wait, 3, 2, 1.
Clap. And on behalf of beer culture and stealing banners in the Nordeck and ruining the Nordeck.
The Bailey.
Hey, yeah, I know. Thanks to FC Cincinnati for stopping by. Lovely scarf we've had hanging here in the background over the Kai Kamara face. It's a shame that guy got loaned to you. This has been ACES Radio, episode 45. On behalf of all the ducks and the puppets and the second-place trophies and the crew cats and periscopes, come back next week for more shit lordery. And all Lord Guillermo's people said... ACES.
Trash lads. Trash lads.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.
Please have a party. Feed us drinks. Get us laid. Ow!
That's the word on the street.